Anyway, he's ready to take the first bounce, and he's going in against big, tall Matt Rendell. Here it goes. Good bounce. Great bounce. Up it goes in the air. No one got the knockout. It fell beside them as they came in and clashed with each other. Down on the ground with Russo getting a little kick, but it was knocked off balance. Trying to get a kick away was Wilden, who's well up the ground. And finally, the Saints defence through Fode grabs the ball, gets it over to Jason Daniels, a little short kick. Jason, the red hair, boots into the half-forward line, taken over there by McCormick, and McCormick gets it over to Gale and Blakey, and Blakey drives the ball after taking the mark up to the half-forward line, but Harding comes in to take the mark. Peter Cameron in charge of the game, along with Grant Vernon of Western Australia this afternoon. We're out in the grandstand side, the northern grandstand side here at Princes Park, which is the Carlton grandstand side, as Harding comes in. Not a bad kick with both feet. That time he favoured the right foot, comes right up to the wing and at the back. Rod Owen grabs the ball and a beautiful foot pass down the ground of the leading Trevor Barker and found him right in the chest. And the defenders there, perhaps a little bit lucky that the umpires didn't take a stronger action, but I don't think it was worthy of 50. Barker punched the ball up towards Lockett. Lockett comes from behind but couldn't get it. Knocking it off the ground was Osborne, who's right. Was that Osborne right down the ground? No, it's not. It's a whip away. That's Rowe, the new player for Fitzroy, after having 5 appearances. First game for the year, comes in. He couldn't pick up the ball. It was a flying shot, and the ball is through for an out-of-bounds decision right next door to the behind post and was on the full. So Gary Pert will take the ball. Gary Pert coming out from the outer end of the ground, brings it out to the northern grandstand side. Up it goes in the air, and Vidovic knocks it away from Rendell. The ball hits the ground. It's not quite out, and Bowie goes in, taps the ball along the ground, tries to get it out to his teammate in Owen. Owen is being hotly pressed there by Rowe and also another Lion defender in Paul Broderick, but the ball forced over the line and out of bounds. Let's see if we've got an opening score out of VFL Park with Royce Evans.
Now, Ian, only 1.5 minutes into the quarter, no score from either side.
Lowe took the ruck jewel and went over the top and got a nice knockout. Peter Burke comes in and is grabbed around the waist when he didn't have the ball and will take the free kick. We've got 2 Burkes playing today. Burke of Fitzroy is Peter, and for St Kilda, it's Nathan Burke. Here's the kick by Peter Burke, up towards the wing. Vidovic's given a little bit of a push out. All the umpire let him get away with it, and he took the mark. Handball's now over towards Grant. Grant grabs the ball and drives in towards centre half forward. Mick Dwyer is down there, forced away from him. A kick along the ground. Good play by the Lions. This is good defensive work by Leon Harris to get the handball up in the air. Charging through in a good style for the Lions. Brendan McCormack tried to get it clear, but he couldn't get it. Picked up and driven into half forward by the Saints and Vidovic. And the mark is taken there by O'Dwyer. McDwyer goes for the handball over towards Russo. Russo in towards goal. The bouncer. Oh, it's eluded both of them. Oh, Dwayne Rowe is saying I touched it, but I didn't think he did, and certainly the goal umpire wasn't hearing of it. It is through for the opening score of the day, and a lucky bounce going the right way, eluding 2 Fitzroy defenders, and a goal on the board. And do you put a black mark against the defenders, Jack?
Yes, they should have touched that one going through, but they didn't touch it, Ian. He completely ignored them, the goal umpire, which he should have too had the glasses right on that. He missed when he had to go down at the ball, bow, and missed the ball altogether, and it rolled through in front of 2 defenders.
St Kilda 1 goal. Fitzroy yet to score on the DFS scoreboard. The bounce in the centre. Trying to pick it up over here is Nathan Burke. He's being dragged out of the way. Coming through is Nicky Winmar, and the umpire has already paid a free kick, and it's going back to Nathan Burke because he was retarded after he got rid of the ball. He drives in towards the full forward line. Fitzroy defenders up over the top of Lockett. That was Lynch coming from Gale coming from the back, and in goes Wine, grabs the ball and forces through for a behind. So we've got 1-1-7 on the board to St Kilda, and Fitzroy yet to open their account. If anything, the Saints are favoured by a slight breeze in the first quarter. They're running over the ground quite well. There's a lot of sand in there. Taken over there by McCormack. He handballs back up in the air. Tries to get it over to the half-back line to Wine, but he couldn't quite get it. Going in is Stevens, but he's beaten for the ball by Owen. Owen throws the ball out in front of him, keeps it in play, dodges around Wine, is knocked out of the way by Rowe, picked up by Blakey, and a great smother over the line by Jason Daniels, and the ball will be thrown in. Some good work there by quite a few players.
By Owen. Beautiful work by Owen there. He handled that ball beautifully at top pace.
Matt Rendell wins the battle of the ruck duels and knocks it out wide towards his goal, but the only trouble was Nicky Winmar was the first to go in and pick it up, and he dodges a couple of players, ducks back, boots over the top. Oh, Lockett was after it, but he's missed it. No, Mick Dwyer fell at the wrong stage. Now he goes for a handball back out the pack to his teammate, and a flying kick by Brad Gotch, and the goal goes on the board. Well, I don't know whether Mick Dwyer is going to be Tony Lockett's favourite man, because Lockett was the nearest player to him when Mick Dwyer went down in the pack. and he didn't handball it out, and Tony saying, hand it out. But he ignored that because Tony was too close, and I think he thought Tony was going to be tackled straight away. So he sent a long hand pass out to Gotch about 10 metres away from a position on the ground. And anyway, Gotch has put it through with St Kilda 2-1-13. Fitzroy yet to score.
I think he should have let Lockett get that, because you can't have... He could have got to a 2 Lockett at that stage, Ian.
From the ruck, Jules goes down on the ground. Lowe gets it. Handballs over to Nathan Burke, but it's stopped in there by Peter Burke. He brings it back out towards the southern grandstand side towards Wheeldon. Wheeldon goes in, lays a great tackle on Grant and brought him to the ground. St Kilda's Lowe gets the ball. He drives it in towards the half-forward line. Nathan Burke dives after the ball. Couldn't quite get it. Chance of a pick-up here, and Peter Burke does that for the Lions. Boots up towards the wing. Charging down the ground was Fode. He couldn't take the mark. It's back up towards Russo, but taken there by the Lions' Broderick, who taps it further afield. Now it's a kick along the ground by Mickey Condon with the chest thrown out. Mick kicks it up towards Richard Osborne, charging up the ground, and I think it's gone off someone's boot over the line on the full, so the Saints take the valuable free kick. And it's Danny Frawley to drive right up towards the wing. Punched to the ground that time by Vidovic. Down on the ground we go, and the Lions come out with the ball this time. Good pick up that time by Gale. Gets it over to Rendell. Rendell in towards the half-forward line. Ball hits the ground. A chance here for Armstrong. Armstrong gets it over towards Osborne, who handballs it out wide and towards the forward pocket position. A big chance for Lynch, but he can't get it. Here's a push away, and it could have been a free kick to Danny Frawley, but the umpire had already blown the whistle beforehand, and I think we'll see umpire Cameron ball the ball up about 40 metres away from goal. On 5 minutes into the first quarter as Cameron bounces the ball. A little bit of a soggy bounce that time. Matera comes in for the Lions, is grabbed, and the umpire says it's going to be my ball again. Bob Henderson has scored at Melbourne.
North Melbourne, 1-1-7. Melbourne, 1 straight goal.
Cameron bounces the ball. That's a better bounce. Gets a bit more height that time too. Knocked away nicely by Harding, and it flips out towards Bowie, and Bowie drives up towards the wing position. Up in the air they go. No one can mark the ball. All the pace of Winmar told there, but he couldn't take it with him. It was trapped back and knocked back towards him by Lowe, but it's good defensive work by Blakey, who picks up the ball. He drives into the half-forward line. Fode missed the ball. Good piece of defensive work by Ken Sheldon. Sheldon of the Saints drives it into the centre of the ground. Peter Burke and Nathan Burke after the ball. The Lion wins out this time and boots it over towards the southern grandstand side. It rolls towards the boundary line, not taking a straight line, it's curving one way and the other. Took a right-hand turn and went over the line for a throw-in. Another score on 3KZ from George Ferry at Essendon.
After 7 minutes, there's still no score, Ian.
The ball thrown in. Up goes Vidovic, knocks it back towards the boundary line. It's Nathan Burke of St Kilda, picks up the ball and drives into the half-forward line. Rod Owen coming after the ball, and also hot there in pursuit was Dwayne Rowe of Fitzroy, who knocks it over the boundary line for another throw-in. Good opening here by St Kilda. They're 2-1-13. Fitzroy yet to score as the ball's thrown in. Knocked away by Rendell. That was a lovely knock away over to Leon Harris, who gets through the pack. Kicks long up towards a half-forward line. Rue setting himself for the mark. Can't take it, but he follows up the ball and then gets an attack of the fumbles. He's finally back on the ball, but in comes Harding and Grant, and it's holding the ball against Roos. Very slow to pick that up and get rid of it. And Grant of St Kilda will go back to take the free kick.
Tried to do too much, didn't he?
Yes, he couldn't get balance to get back to give the hand pass, and there was no one to give it to, so he's still in trouble.
Grant drives the ball down to the wing position on the Hawthorn grandstand side. Russo came through, tried to kick it off the ground. It's picked up and handballed out to Conlon. He sends Fitzroy into attack with a long kick up to the forward line. Lynch goes high, can't take the mark, but there as Richard Osborne scouting the pack, picks up the ball and has a flying shot with the left foot, but just offline, and through for the first score to Fitzroy. They go on to 1 point. St Kilda 2-1-13, and that's on the DFS, the Druids Friendly Society scoreboard. Rice of St Kilda drives the ball in, down towards centre half-back. Rendell puts his hand up and knocks the ball forward. Grant at the bottom of the pack will get a free kick, and play on is paid now as the ball comes out to Sheldon. The advantage well played. Sheldon drives the ball up to the half-forward line. Coming through there was Harris of Fitzroy. He was in the front position and will take the free kick. Harris playing in the back pocket there, and
Gotch his man at the moment.
Gotch is his man. Drives the ball in towards the centre of the ground. Almost a mark there to Russo, but good work here by Bowie. Picks up the ball and spears a pass in towards Dwyer at centre half forward. Dwyer unlucky not to mark that, and play on as the call as Barker comes in. Stevens there in hot pursuit. Stevens gets the ball out towards Pert, who's shepherded well by Gale. Pert picks up the ball, but a good tackle there by Dwyer, and the ball dribbles off the boot of Pert. Good defensive work there, though, by Leon Harris. Picks up the ball, and he drives in towards the centre wing position. Good recovery here by St Kilda. They get the ball over towards Russo. Russo handballs over to Gordon Fode running down the ground. Fode's kick comes in towards centre half forward. McCormick there for Fitzroy. Stood his ground well. Gets the handball away over to Stevens. Stevens over to Blakey, and Blakey puts a kick in towards the centre of the ground and finds Conlon unattended. Conlon goes for a long handball to Matera, who's on the 50-metre line. Gets away from Daniels. Handballs across to Armstrong, who lines up the goals. And he's just offline, hit the post. And that was a lovely bit of work there by Fitzroy from the back line, but finished up with a poster. 2 behinds now, Fitzroy. St Kilda 2-1-13. Rice once again drives to the Hawthorn grandstand side. Off the hands of the pack. It's Russo waiting at the back. Picks up the ball and then kicks in towards Winmar. But a beautiful interception here by Peter Burke of Fitzroy. And he sends a long kick into the forward line. Free kick going to be paid here to Fitzroy. And it's going Richard Osmond's way, who was pushed in the back in going for that mark. And he'll be taking the kick about 40 metres out from goal.
Cameron was pretty quickly on that one, Jack.
Yeah, wasn't he on that one? He was one in front of him, one at the back of him. He had no hope at all. Had him boxed up there. They pushed him in the back, finished up pushing him in the back there. 2 men on him, of course, at that stage. They both made mistakes, and he has now a free kick.
Richard Osmond coming in. Nice looking kick off the boot. The umpire watching it closely. It's just come back against the breeze, and the first major score goes on the board for Fitzroy. Fitzroy move on to 1-2-8. St Kilda 2-1-13 on the Druids Friendly Society scoreboard.
3Ks it is, football.
DFS Health Cover. All year-round protection for the whole family. Compare rates and benefits at Queensbury Street, North Melbourne.
And that all-important telephone number is 329-5144. Roy Simmons, the score at VFL Park.
Collingwood 2-3-15. Carlton yet to score.
Good bounce in the centre of the ground. It favours Vidovic. He gets his hand to it, but well sharked there by Leon Harris. His left foot kick comes in towards centre half forward. Fode's there for St Kilda. Battles well and then gets onto the left foot and fires a little pass in towards Brad Gotch. Gotch on the centre wing position. Puts a left foot kick up towards centre half forward. It's punched away from the pack and picked up beautifully by Bowie, who gets it over towards Mick Dwyer. Mick Dwyer twists and turns. Gets onto the left foot. Lines up the goals. But he's pulled that one around a little bit too far and through for another behind to St Kilda. 2-2-14 St Kilda, Fitzroy 1-2-8 on the DFS scoreboard. The difference now, 1 goal at the 13-minute mark of the first term.
Dummied the handball over to Winmar, and everyone kept running after Winmar, but Dwyer still had it.
Yes, came back very nicely there, and bad shot for goal, just the same. He never steadied quite enough.
Pert drives the ball straight down the ground, up towards centre half forward. Almost a good mark there to Blakey. Quick handball out of the pack, comes towards Nathan Burke. He twists and turns, gets away, then puts a long, effective handball over towards Winmar, who's clear. Winmar looks for Lockett, drives in towards Lockett, but it's a poor pass over the head of Lockett, and coming through here is Rowe of Fitzroy. He handballs across over towards Stevens, then Stevens back to Rowe, which is intercepted beautifully by Winmar. Winmar kicks the ball in towards the half-forward line, but good work here again by Fitzroy as Wine gets the ball and drives it out to the half-back flank, only to see Burke come in for St Kilda to take the mark. He drives in towards the half-forward line. A good pass here finds Russo. Russo now kicks up towards the centre half-forward position. Gale in front of the pack for Fitzroy will go up to take the mark. Went to play on Gale, and the umpire said play on. He gets a handball over towards McCormick. McCormick drives down towards the centre wing position. On the Carlton grandstand side here. Good work by Matera. Twists and turns. Gets a handball away over towards Leon Harris. Leon Harris kicks up towards Osborne, and a free kick will be paid here downfield because Winmar came in late on Harris and knocked him after he disposed of the ball. And Richard Osborne has the ball and will be shooting from the 50-metre line. Distance could be a problem for Osborne as he comes in. He favours a torpedo. It's a good kick going right up into the 10-metre square. In fact, it's over the head of the pack, but just offline and through for another behind. Fitzroy 1-3-9, St Kilda 2-2-14.
3Ks and it is football.
DFS Health Cover. All year-round protection for the whole family. Compare rates and benefits at Queensbury Street, North Melbourne.
Good lead by Fode. Comes out to the half-back line on the kick out. He was going to play the free kick against Colin, but the umpire paid the advantage rule and gave Fode a run on the ball. Into the centre of the ground, and coming up with Stuart Lowe to tap it over towards Russo. Russo goes for a handball to Daniels, who falls to the ground. Some of these players aren't holding their balance, the St Kilda players, and it's picked up here. Good kick by Armstrong, and Fitzroy right over the top of Richard Osborne. Lynch at the back has the chance to run it along the ground, but he couldn't do so properly. Into the pocket it goes. A bit of a dash here and a right foot snap towards the goal. Is it through or not? and it was Broderick to have that shot for goal for one behind only. So Lions now attacking them, but they're not getting the major scores on the board. They've got 1-4-10 to St Kilda 2-2-14, and that's the 3KZ DFS scoreboard. Danny Frawley to the outer side of the ground. Big kick up there, looking for Vidovic, and Vidovic takes the mark quite nicely. Goes back, gets a long handball to Ken Sheldon running down the ground, and Sheldon, the former Blues player, will know this ground well. Boots in towards half forward, and the mark has been taken down here by Stuart Lowe. Mind you, Kenny Sheldon will probably know a greener ground here at Princes Park than what he sees today. Little short pass and a chip in, a beautiful chip in by Trevor Barker. I'm sure the pass was going to go there to Tony Lockett. It was meant for Tony, but it fell a bit short, and Barker chipped in beautifully, Jack.
Yes, and marked that very securely too. Good pair of hands now again there. He went for one before they had dropped out of his hands, but that was a very firm mark.
Now, let's see if the Saints' accuracy is still there. They've probably got the breeze in the first quarter. It goes to the outer end, and a good kick by Trevor. It's through for a goal. And the Saints move along to 3-2-20. Fitzroy 1-4-10, the DFS scoreboard, and their telephone number is 329-5144. You won't find it in the book. They've moved premises just before the new book came out, so get in there just after the new book came out. So that telephone number is 329-5144. Another score with Roy Simmons at VFL Park.
Collingwood 2-4-16, Carlton 1 point.
Have Collingwood got the breeze in the first quarter, Roy?
No, there's no advantage as that's blowing across the ground then, but they've certainly got their running game going at the moment.
Bob Henderson at Melbourne.
We see North Melbourne 3-1-19, Melbourne 2-3-15.
From the centre bounces, Big Matt Rendell taking the ball and picks it up himself and gets on the left boot and drives it quite significantly into the forward line up to the 50-metre line, where Richard Osborne comes well out from goal, takes the mark, takes the ball and goes for the short pass over towards his teammate Broderick. Broderick shoots towards goal and has brought it up. Well, that snap beforehand, a clever little try, didn't make it, but that one was a lovely kick.
Yes, and good play there by the full forward too. He played very well too, I thought. What's his name again there?
Richard Osborne.
Richmond Osborne. Tricky Dicky. I was trying to think up there. He gave him the hand pass, come back very nice and gently, and gave him the stab pass, and he put that one through. A nice kick there. Good play between the two of them.
Fitzroy now on to 2 goals, 4-16. St Kilda 3-2-20, the DFS scoreboard. Bounces the ball back in the centre. Vidovic and also Rendell going for the ball. No one could mark it. It's brought down. Peter Burke came in, but it's taken out of the centre that time by Wind. He gets it into half forward. A handball, a rough one from Sheldon goes over to Harding. He was knocked off the ball and got a tap out. Good tackle by Gordon Fode. Only 17 years of age, but boy, is he a solidly built kid. Gets the ball away and handballs over to Daniels. Daniels, another youngster, in towards the forward line where Stevens took it. But Winmar brilliantly intercepts again. That's twice he's brilliantly intercepted Winmar. Picked up after the ball fell to the ground by Gale in the long run. Bounces into the face that time of Wilden. He recovers quickly, eyes still smarting, and gets a left foot kick in towards the forward line, but Nathan Burke was there to take it away for St Kilda. Handballs over to Sheldon. Sheldon into centre half forward. Trying to run with the ball was Blakey, but he missed the mark, and when it was coming down, Rod Owen comes in and intercepts, grabs the ball, fires to the forward pocket. It goes away from Tony Lockett and bounces over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. St Kilda 3-2-20, Fitzroy 2-4-16. They give the ball up pretty easy, some of these, both of these sides, Jack.
Don't they? You lose a runner, but let them in to very easy kicks.
Lockett took the ruck, tried to knock it down towards Little Bowie in the pocket, but it's kicked away there along the ground by the Lions' defence out towards Peter Burke. He handballs and gets it over to McCormick. McCormick goes out to the half-back flank. Oh, beautiful pick up there by Paul Roos. Did it so effortlessly. Got it over towards Stevens. He handballed up towards Rowe. Rowe fires into the forward line. Danny Frawley comes through. Gets a little bit of a nudge, and I think the umpire's going to give him the resultant free kick. And Vernon points out, yes, it is yours, Danny, as he gets to his feet and goes back and takes the free kick. He goes around the southern grandstand side here at Carlton, out towards the wing position, and down on the ground that time was Roos to get a long handball up the ground, and Burke charges down the ground, has 2 bounces, shows determination and dash and boots towards full forward, and down there to take the mark for the Lions, only a couple of metres out from goal. And go back is Lynch, who looked a lot taller when I went to call him that time than he did the time before.
I was just going to say that Ian is a lot taller than Rice. Rice is in a bit of trouble trying to get up near him at all. The first time he'd come down there he had trouble, and that one he had more trouble that time.
And Lynch is lining up from only about 12 metres out. Fires towards goal. It's through for another goal. And the Lions move on to 3 goals 4. They've hit the front. That is up to 22 points. St Kilda 3-2-20. And we'll take another score from Bobby Henderson at Melbourne.
We see North Melbourne 3-1-19, lead Melbourne 2-4-16.
3KZ's George Ferry and Essendon.
Essendon 5-1-31, and the Eagles yet to score.
3KZ is football.
DFS Health Cover. All year round protection for the whole family. Compare rates and benefits at Queensbury Street, North Melbourne.
Ready for the bounce back in the centre. Cameron has the ball.
And umpire Cameron comes in, puts it down to the ground. It's a good bounce. Got away by Rendell nicely, but Bowie comes in. He's first to the ball, pushed in the back. Play on is the call. Gets it over towards his teammate there, and it's kicked forward there by Vidovic, up towards the half-forward line. But McCormick of Fitzroy in the way takes the mark. He handballs across to Stevens. Stevens' left foot kick doesn't go too far, but it's meant for Rendell. Rendell picks the ball up and then kicks in towards the forward line. Lynch went up, didn't go for the ball. This will be a free kick against Lynch. And umpire Cameron coming in very quickly there, and I think that's Danny Frawley down on the ground, is it? And he was, Lynch's clumsy effort, I guess, to go for the mark, and he didn't make a great attempt to go for the ball, and he's caught Danny Frawley with his boot in the kidney region, I would say, and Danny Frawley not too well out there at the moment.
The only trouble was Danny Frawley was running back into him, and I think Lynch put the boot up to stop him running back into him, and I just wonder if you call that a free kick.
The knee, and he got the knee right,
Got the knee.
right in the kidney.
I know he deserved it, but the main of pain he's in, but Danny was running straight back into the pack.
The ball down to the half-back line. Grant takes the mark and kicks in towards the forward line. McCormick there for Fitzroy. Gets the ball, handballs away over towards Matera. Matera runs down to the 50-metre line, has a shot towards goal, but once again offline and through for another behind to Fitzroy. On the Druids Friendly Society scoreboard, that takes Fitzroy on to 3-5-23, St Kilda 3-2-20. Rice of St Kilda goes short out the Hawthorn grandstand side, looking for Jason Daniels, who was pushed right in the back there by Darren Wheeldon, and Daniels must take the free kick.
That was a foolish free kick, wasn't it?
It was open. Everyone in the grandstand, that even the fellow in the grandstand saw that one.
With his back turned the other way.
It's the sort of thing you can almost get reported for, because there was no way Daniels was going to miss the mark, and all Wheeldon decided to do was to push him in the back. It's Daniels, drives the ball down towards the centre of the ground, picked up out of the pack very nicely there and kicked forward over towards Roos by Fitzroy, and coming out of the pack there was McCormick. Paul Roos at centre half forward will be kicking from about 50 metres out. Comes in, drives the ball up into the goal square. It's going into the goal square and further. The players just look at that. A lovely kick off the boot by Roos, and he's put that right through for another goal. And Fitzroy gaining the ascendancy at the 18-minute mark of the first term. Move on to 4-5-29 to St Kilda 3-2-20.
Curly Austin didn't like the tackle there of Wheeldon. He's ripped him straight off the ground and brought Clayton on. 3KZ is football.
DFS Health Cover. All year round protection for the whole family. Compare rates and benefits at Queensbury Street, North Melbourne.
The ball back in the centre. It's a good bounce. Rendell gets a knock away again through the legs of McDwyer, though, and coming through is Matera. It's a lovely quick handball over towards Leon Harris, and Harris goes towards the goal. Rice dropping back, gets his fist to the ball, and it just propped, and coming through was Lynch. Tried to get his foot to it, but just couldn't connect, and it's dribbled through for another behind to Fitzroy. Druids Friendly Society scoreboard moving along quickly in the first term. Fitzroy 4-6-30, St Kilda 3-2-20. The ball brought out this time the Carlton grandstand side, and going up was Grant to take a good mark for St Kilda. He runs on and now kicks the ball back towards the half-forward line, where Lowe in front of Stevens stood his ground to take an excellent mark. Lowe from the centre square, kicks up towards Lockett, who's having a good battle at the moment. Lockett gets into the front position but can't take the mark. McCormick feeds the ball off the pack, gets a grubbing kick out towards the half-back flank, where Clayton Newley on the ground tries to pick it up. Coming through there was Russo, gets the ball away from Clayton and knocks it over the boundary line to be thrown in.
Other scores, other grounds. Roy Simmons at VFL Park.
Collingwood 2-5-17, leading Carlton 1-1-7.
Rendell comes in, low from the back, gets the knock away, over towards Fitzroy it goes, and Broderick picks the ball up, turns onto the left foot and drives back towards the centre wing position, where Roos, running down from the half-forward position, takes the mark. Roos kicks in towards the leading Lynch. It's over the head of Lynch, drops into the centre half-forward position in no man's land. Coming through is Sheldon, the first to recover, picks up the ball and kicks in towards the half-forward line, and an excellent mark here by Jim Wind over Bowie. Jim Wind to Fitzroy, gets it over towards Stevens. Stevens kicks the ball out towards Blakey on the half-back flank. Blakey picks up the ball, met solidly there by Winmar and loses his footing, but gets a good handball back towards Stevens. Stevens over to Peter Burke, and Fitzroy into attack now as Burke has one bounce and a second bounce. He loses it now, and he's quickly pressed and gets the handball away. Luckily there over towards Wind, and he kicks the ball into centre half forward, but the play held up there, and St Kilda able to regroup. Lazar Vidovic comes in to take the mark. He handballs over to Grant, and Grant kicks back towards the centre of the ground. Up go the pack. Rendell almost took the mark. In there fighting hard for the ball was Rowe of Fitzroy. He can't get the ball away. Coming through is Stevens. Gets a kick off the knee. Only goes as far as Mick Dwyer. He handballs over to Russo, who's been a good player in the first term. Russo gets it out towards Barker, who's on his own on the half-forward flank. The ball bounces awkwardly for Barker, but he turns around, picks up the ball, gets clear and fires in towards goal, but just offline and through for another behind to St Kilda. Fitzroy 4-6-30. St Kilda 3-3-21 at the 25-minute mark, and that's on the Druids Friendly Society scoreboard. Pert gets a short lead there, down from Jimmy Wine, who leads down, and Pert picks him out with a 40-metre pass. Wine goes out to the half-back line, and over there it's Broderick to take the mark. Broderick onto the left foot, kicks up towards Armstrong. Armstrong comes in to take a mark on the defensive side of the centre of the ground on the Hawthorn grandstand side. Armstrong on the left foot, kicks up towards a half-forward line, looking for Roos. Roos goes up, can't take the mark, but then flips it further forward. Sheldon's in there. He gets the ball over towards Harding, who uses strength to fend off an attack there, and gets the ball over towards the wing position. Nathan Burke coming in, cleverly plays the ball in front of him, just keeps it in play, and then kicks in towards centre half-forward, looking for Lowe. Stevens coming out, but once again it's Winmar intercepts with Stevens. Winmar's handball this time is in turn intercepted, and coming through is Blakey to get the ball away over to Clayton. Clayton in turn over to Armstrong, and Armstrong gets it up to the centre wing over to Peter Burke. Looking good here for Fitzroy as Burke gets it over to Blakey. Blakey runs to the 50-metre line, lines up the goals, and result should have been better there because the goal was open, and Blakey is offline and put it through for a point. 3-3-21 St Kilda, Fitzroy 4-7-31.
Had a few opportunities for better scores, Jack.
Yes, didn't they? They're rushing it down towards, they're well on top at the present time with plenty of pace. Fitzroy, they're leaving St Kilda behind.
Out the Carlton grandstand side, it's Daniels comes in to take the mark. Daniels plays on quickly and gets the ball into the centre of the ground. Picked up off the ground by Russo, and Russo kicks in towards Lockett. Lockett was put into the back there, and Pert got the front position. Pert now regains the ground and kicks long over towards the centre wing position and finds Armstrong with a lovely pass. Battle's going to, the honours going to Pert at the moment as Armstrong brings the ball in towards the centre of the ground proper, and Matera comes in to take the mark. Matera's pass there meant for Broderick wasn't a good one, and Fode comes in, picks up the ball, but Broderick in there put a fierce tackle on Fode, and he gets the free kick for holding the ball against Fode. Free kick paid further afield here as Matera made good position, and Sheldon not too happy about that one because the umpire said Sheldon was holding him, and I thought it was a good two-man tussle, Jack.
Yeah, I thought it was the West Australian free kick that.
Yes, because Matera, when it was going over his head, he just propped, and Ken Sheldon had nowhere to go, and Ken Sheldon was trying to get to the ball, but Matera was just propped under him.
There's play on it, was.
And Wally Matera comes in from 40 metres out. Kicks going through the goals. A lucky goal there to Fitzroy, perhaps, but the goal on the board nevertheless. And the Druids Friendly Society scoreboard has Fitzroy moving on to 5-7-37 to St Kilda 3-3-21.
That's the worst part of those decisions. They get a goal out of them now and again, and they certainly got a goal out of a very easy one there. It was, he was trying to keep Sheldon away from the ball, and all Sheldon has fell over the top of him and gives him a free kick for a push in the back. It was a shocking one. As I say, he's from West Australia, that fella, and it looked like a West Australian free kick.
Up it goes in the air at the centre bounce, and Vidovic gets it down on the ground. All bounces away that time from Broderick. If Fitzroy couldn't quite get it, knocked along from Mick Dwyer, but it goes Lyon's way again as it's picked up by Matera. Matera goes into the forward line. Up goes Osborne, couldn't take the mark, looking for the free kick, didn't get it. Danny Frawley picks up, boots out from the outer side of the ground. Southern grandstand side, the beautiful pass to Nathan Burke. He has one bounce, steadies, looks for someone to kick it to. It goes down the ground and towards the half-forward line. There's a bit of a blow-on going up there on the forward pocket, the other side, and the grandstand end. Picked up here by Coughlin now on the ground for St Kilda. Fires to the forward line, and Tony Lockett has taken the mark 30 metres out from goal. Have eyes in the back of your head up here. I just heard the crowd roar a little bit more, and I looked up as I was calling to see a couple of players in the dust-up. Who's involved, Jack?
Rice coming away from it at the present time. We'll have a look at the other fellas in a minute. Oh, Tricky Dickie's in there, of course. Osborne.
Now, Tony Lockett, about 30, well, not even 30 metres out, 25 out. Gets low over the ball that time and shoots towards goal, and I think Tony has put it through. He has indeed. And Saints are now up to 5 goals, 3, or have I beaten the drum? They have. 4 goals, 3, 27, trailing Fitzroy 5-7-37. The DFS scoreboard and 3KZ is football.
DFS Health Cover. All year round protection for the whole family. Compare rates and benefits at Queensbury Street, North Melbourne.
George Ferrier score at Essendon.
Quarter time, Essendon 8-2-50, lead the Eagles one behind.
Oh, brother. They have spat the dummy, have they, George?
I'm afraid so. They started off the first couple of minutes all right, Ian, but that was the end of it.
Up goes Matt Rendell and gets a good knockout away from Vidovic in towards the half-forward line. Trying to come in that time was Peter Burke coming up the ground to take that knockout, but he couldn't quite capture it, and the ball's going to be balled up into the half-forward, and they're getting a bit niggly now. Conlon's throwing the arms out. Nicky Winmar was in there, being dragged back by Gordon Fode. Now Nicky's going up for another little dash at Mickey Conlon. And umpire Vernon, the Western Australian umpire, having a couple of words with a few more players there, and now tone it down, boys, tone it down. And we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21 players around the ball. As the umpire is preparing to bounce the ball, still in the centre square, and the siren went for quarter time. As we're ready to bounce the ball, and Cameron sends it high in there. That's a very good bounce, and they're virtually toe-to-toe that time with Vidovic winning the knockout. Nicky Winmar is virtually in the centre as he grabs the ball, gets it away, got it into the half-forward, and Russo grabbed a little bit too high and will take the free kick. What happens, Nicky Winmar goes into the centre for the bounce of the ball, and then after the bounce, Russo comes in and takes up the centre position for St Kilda. The kick by Russo now is into the forward line. Rowe must get that free kick as Lockett charged into him after he took the mark, and he goes back to take it. I'm now getting memories of Rowe when he first had his first game. I think we might have had it, as he played for Fitzroy a couple of seasons ago. Gets the ball, goes out towards the southern grandstand side here at Princes Park. Lions going down towards the other end in this, the second quarter. Umpire Vernon has plucked a free kick out of this. It's going against the Lions. Said they held it too long, and the free kick will go St Kilda's way, and it's going to Owen, who is right up on the wing. Owen with the left foot. It's a wonky sort of a kick. It goes into the half-forward line towards Lowe. He couldn't take the mark. Coming in there to follow up with a quick tackle, but it didn't do any good, was Coughlin, who's back on the ground for the Saints, and this is his return game. First time back in the seniors since the game against Collingwood, where he was Saints' best player up until about quarter time and then was off with that nasty knee injury. Boundary line throw-in. Over the back it goes to Clayton of Fitzroy, and Clayton goes out towards the wing on the southern grandstand side, but the umpire says there's been a grab when the player didn't have possession of the ball. It's taken by Armstrong. Armstrong with a left foot kick into the half-forward line, and Ruse comes out and grabs the mark. Falls into the fence, now has to go back and chase the ball over the fence if it's a St Kilda supporter. And I think it might have been who throws it over the ground in disgust and says, I really don't want to throw this over the poor Ruse, Dad. But Ruse takes it and boots it in towards the half-forward line. Oh, a bad slip down there. Shocking piece of play by the Lions, and Paul Broderick has let that ball get out of their grasp. And coming in to pick it up and drive it away is Jason Daniels into the centre of the ground. Mick Dwyer had the ball punched away that time by McCormick, and it hits the ground. Picked up by Clayton. Over to Matera. Matera goes for a grubbing little left foot kick, trying to find Osborne, but Frawley's got his match. Goes in, forces the ball along the ground, falls over. Osborne on top of him. The ball dribbles away to the boundary line with Sheldon there and Russo. They beat Matera to it. Russo picks it up and drives it out towards the wing position, but coming down the ground once again is McCormick to take the ball. McCormick, very solid youngster, comes in, boots the ball towards centre half forward. They set themselves. Up they go. Jason Daniels had a good hand on the ball but couldn't bring it down. Grant, one of St Kilda's better players, picks up the ball out towards Mick Dwyer, but he's under the ball again, and McCormick goes over the top. Dwyer spent a lot of time on the ground today. Peter Burke goes in, gets a long handball out towards Harris. Harris with a little left foot kick into the half-forward line. Taken by Russo, though, and they've lost the ball again. They give it up easily, both of these sides. Picked up and driven in towards the centre of the ground, where right down the ground was Owen. He gets it over towards Dwyer. Dwyer handballs over towards Lowe. Lowe back towards Dwyer, who's now within 40 metres. He gets on the left foot and fires up towards Lockett. He's in front but couldn't take the mark. Tackled, falls to ground. Umpire said you had the chance to get rid of it but didn't. And the free kick will go to Wind, who did a good job to stop the man Mountain running all over him. Wind from the back pocket heads out to the southern grandstand side here at Princes Park. Lions towards the other end. Second quarter. Lowe at the back of the pack, picks it up, sends it back to centre it. A little bit of nudge in the back to Barker. It's a silly free kick. Almost as bad as Wilton's in the previous quarter. And this one is going against Gale. And Cameron says, throw that ball back to the blonde-haired man with number 1 on his back. And Trevor Barker says, thank you. Gee, that was a poor free kick, Jack.
Wasn't it? Yes. Of course, he's a very experienced player, Barker. He put his back in the right place again, too, to make it worse. That made it look very bad indeed. He couldn't do anything else but give the free kick.
Trevor Barker, only 25 metres out, comes in. Fires towards goal. The goal umpire steps up confidently with the 2 fingers raised in the air. It's another goal on the board of the Saints. And the Bank of Melbourne scoreboard shows St Kilda 5-3-33, Fitzroy 5-7-37. 4 minutes gone in the second quarter. 3KZ is football.
Free checks, no fees. The Bank of Melbourne cuts the cost of banking, and the money in your personal cheque account earns worthwhile interest. We have branches and agents everywhere.
At the other grounds, Roy Simmons, VFL Park.
Collingwood 3-6-24, leading Carlton 3-2-20.
Bounce to the ball in the centre, up it goes, and good knockout to Rendell, out wide, but it goes towards Nathan Burke. Peter Burke's after it now, Fitzroy. Winmar went to knock it along the ground. He got it out a couple of metres, and it goes over towards his big man in Vidovic. He couldn't handle the ball, but Nathan Burke comes in. Boots in towards centre half forward. Stevens back there, gets it, handballs over to Clayton. Back to Stevens. Stevens with a boot this time out towards the wing on the southern grandstand side here at Princes Park. Good pick up by Fode. Beautiful dash. Comes through. Oh, now he's caught with a good tackle. Scoops the ball along the ground, but it goes Fitzroy's way. Goes out there towards the wing at Armstrong. Armstrong boots in towards the half-forward line. Sheldon left it there for Harding coming through. Harding picks up and boots into centre half-forward. A chance for Big Stevens. He couldn't quite get it. The ball's loose again. Picked up by Bradley Gotch, and Bradley Gotch fires to the full forward line. Pert in front that time. It'll be against Tony Lockett. Don't lose the lolly there, Tony. Pert down on the ground. I thought Tony was going to throw that ball into the turf, and umpire Vernon said it's against you. And Gary Pert may have fallen awkwardly because the trainers are straight out into the ground. It didn't look anything serious.
I think he may have fallen on Tony Lockett's boot as he went to the ground. It was purely accidental, but it looks like his face has connected the boot.
Bad one, and the trainers are now getting some of the medical men out also. Laurie and Jack have got the glasses on. Good time while we can't see whether Gary's, now he's getting up into a sitting position at least, but he's well covered by other people. Have another score, Bob Henderson at Melbourne.
5-6-36, lead North Melbourne, 4-4-28.
George Freddy at Essendon.
Essendon 9-2-56, lead the Eagles, 1 behind.
And we'll check again with Roy Simmons at VFL Park.
Collingwood 3-8-26, leading Carlton 3-2-20.
Gary Pert going back to take his kick. Had a good look on the glasses, Jack, see if there's any marks.
No, you can't see it. He seems to be all right. He took a bit slow to recover, but he looks like he's all right again.
Big kick by Gary when he takes it, drives it right up towards the centre of the ground, and here's an excellent mark by Harding. Harding went up and grabbed it, and no one really challenged him for it. Boots into the half-forward line for Nicky Winmar, who grabs the ball, but he's lost it again. Went out of his hands, and the ball bounces away for him towards the boundary line, over the line and out of bounds as the 3 players fall on the ground after Winmar lost that ball.
He's doing some very nice things, but can't complete them at all.
Yeah, I was just thinking of your comment, Jack, when I saw the ball bounce away from him that time, your quarter-time comments. Out wide it goes from the boundary line throw in into half forward. Rowe pounces on the Saints down there under the ball in Gotch, and the umpire says, leave it to me, I'm going to bounce it up. We're at the 6-minute mark as Laurie takes the action.
And the ball goes down onto the ground. In front there was Lowe. He tries to get the ball over to Russo and Doso. Russo gets it to Winmar, who once again just can't control the ball, and it's cleared well by the Fitzroy defenders. Up towards the centre of the ground, and coming in to take a good mark is Lynch. Alistair Lynch gets Roos over onto the half-forward line. Roos gets loose, and Lynch puts the pass in towards Roos. Roos with the mark now, looks for a lead down forward. Richard Osmond comes out, but dropping back and intercepting the pass nicely was Rice of St Kilda. Rice sends the ball back in towards the centre of the ground. Up goes Lowe, taps the ball away. Leon Harris roving well for Fitzroy. Comes through, picks up the ball, gets a good hand pass over towards Clayton. Clayton back to Blakey. Blakey back towards Clayton now, and now they're starting to muck around as the ball comes over towards Peter Burke from Leon Harris, and Peter Burke fires the ball in towards the goal, and Richard Osborne stood his ground there to take a good mark, but umpire Cameron said he pushed Danny Frawley out, and I thought that was a pretty clean mark there to Osborne, but the ball going to Frawley. Frawley sends the ball to the outer side of the ground. Up goes the big fella there and lays a Vidovic high over the pack to take a good mark. Vidovic now kicks long up towards the centre wing position. Coming out is Lowe, but he's well behind his man in Stevens, and Stevens having a good game. Takes the mark. Handball's long over towards Matt Rendell. Rendell gets it back towards Stevens, and Stevens kicks into the forward line. Richard Osmond at the back of the pack can't take that mark, and Vidovic drops into the front of the pack to take a very solid mark. He handballs across to Rice. Rice over to Sheldon. Sheldon a long handball now over towards Daniels. Daniels onto the right foot. Kicks up towards the centre wing. The ball drops short. Gale's in there for Fitzroy, but Winmar mark comes in, picks up the ball better that time, gets away from a tackle and fires the ball in towards the half-forward line. But once again, it's Pert in front of Lockett, comes out to take the mark. Pert sends the ball across to the half-forward line. Not good play from an experienced player. And Coughlin picks up the ball, handballs across, over towards Owen. Owen's twisting and turning, gets it to Lockett in the goal square. It's a poor handball over towards Lockett, and the ball smothered off the boot. Pert comes in and taps the ball over his head through for a goal. That should have been a goal to St Kilda. It was dreadful play by the Fitzroy defenders, and I think it was Pert, as I mentioned, and then just mucked up with too many poor handballs by Fitzroy, and St Kilda will let off the hook. Fitzroy 5-7-37, St Kilda 5-4-34 on the Bank of Melbourne scoreboard. Pert brings the ball down to the members' side, the Carlton members' side of the ground. Picked up nicely here by McCormick. His left foot kick comes down towards the wing position, looking for Armstrong. Armstrong met solidly there by Rice, and the ball put over the boundary line and will be thrown in just on the attacking side, the Fitzroy attacking side of the centre wing position.
And both sides were lucky the play went on quickly, else Jack might have said a lot of nasty words to them about that goal down there.
It was a shocking bit of play, that. Pert woke up in the finish. He punched it back over his head. I'd like to see him do that.
Good tap away there by McCormick, who was grabbed around the neck, but the umpire said play on as he ducked his head. Good hand pass comes out towards Jimmy Wine. He fires the ball into the forward pocket, looking for Richard Osborne. He gets it across to Armstrong, but coming through is Daniels, who tackled Armstrong. Armstrong couldn't get an effective kick away, and it dribbles off the side of his boot over the boundary line to be thrown in.
Bob Henderson to score at Melbourne, please.
North Melbourne 5-6-36. North Melbourne 5-5-35.
Lynch gets the tap away over towards Wind again, but Sheldon comes in there, dives on the ball, and a free kick is going St Kilda's way, and it's coming out to Dean Rice. Rice kicks the ball up towards Grant, who took a very good mark there under a lot of pressure. Grant gets the ball over to Sheldon, and Sheldon kicks long up towards the wing position, looking for Lowe, but he will insist on playing behind, and Stevens stands his ground to take another good mark. Good player for Fitzroy, Stevens, and he kicks in towards Lynch. Lynch almost took the mark. Play on now as a call as Lynch recovers, picks up the ball, gets a good handball over to Roos. Roos from 50 metres, lines up the open goals, but he too is offline, and it's through for another behind to Fitzroy. Bank of Melbourne scoreboard, Fitzroy 5-8-38, St Kilda 5-4-34.
3 keys, it is football.
Free checks, no fees. The Bank of Melbourne cuts the cost of banking, and the money in your personal check account earns worthwhile interest. We have branches and agents everywhere.
The kick out towards the southern grandstand side, and David Grant takes another good mark. Been well in the play. We'll check his stats in just a moment. Gets it up towards the wing position on the southern grandstand side, and it's gone over the line and out of bounds. David Grant, Peter?
He's had 8 kicks, 3 marks, and 1 hand pass.
Yeah, been well in the play. Boundary umpire will throw this ball back in. Up it goes in the air, and a good knockout that time by Lowe, goes wide. Trying to take it away in the pack that time was Matera. He couldn't do so. Lions go back into attack. A quick kick into the forward line that time by Broderick. Picked up there by Wine. Wine gets the handball over the time. A little right foot kick by the Lions coming into the forward line by Lynch, but they've taken away. Good grab down here on the last line by Fode. Fode of St Kilda with the ball. Back pocket position. Oh, he's virtually off his mark there. And kicks into the man on the mark. Bad blue. Luckily, and now it's intercepted the second time by Paul Roos. It was intercepted the first time, that time by Rice. Then Roos came in, and Roos is going to get the free kick now. Well, this is some... Gee, they waste some free kicks and balls out there.
Don't they waste them? But yes, it was very bad play by the Fitzroy, by the St Kilda players there. And to finish up, they got right in the back of a ruse of all players that knows what to do to fall on the ground and get what was an easy free kick in the finish.
Roos comes in. He's on an acute angle, fires towards goal and hits the post. Not a bad attempt, but just couldn't pull it off by Paul Roos. But Paul's got 1 and 2 on the board. Bob Henderson, can we check again that score at Melbourne, please?
Melbourne 5-6-36. North Melbourne 5-5-35.
George Freddy at Essendon.
Essendon 11-2-68. The Eagles 1 behind.
Oh, George. Here's the kick out from the last line. It goes out towards the half-back flank, and Denny Frawley's down there with a number 50-odd jumper on his back. Boots it out towards the outer side of the ground. Yacht now roving the packs, picks up the ball from the wing and drives in towards half-forward where Dwyer. Now this is Coughlin. Coughlin takes the mark, sends it out now towards the full forward line, and it's going to be... Oh, play on. That looked like Lockett's free kick to me. Picked up there on the last line by Gale, who sends it back out towards the other side of the ground, and the mark taken over there by the Lions, and going back as Rendell. Did you have that in the glasses, Jack?
Yes, I did. He was going to give it with the other fellow, Ian. He wasn't going to give it to Lockett. He was going to give it to the Fitzroy player. That's why he let it go on.
Here's the kick by Rendell down towards the half-forward line at the base of the pack. A big handball by Armstrong over the top to Roos. Roos goes for the handball to Clayton. Clayton, not known as a goal kicker, steadies. Fires to the teeth of goal and knocked through by Danny Frawley, wearing number 59 at the moment. And it's Fitzroy. Now moving along to 5. Are they up to 10 behinds already? They are. 5, 10, 40. St Kilda 5, 4, 34. That's bad, Lions. Here's the kick out by Danny Frawley, straight up the ground towards Winmar, but knocked away by Blakey. Picked up there, a little handball by Matera, intercepted that time by Nathan Burke. Nathan Burke of St Kilda into half forward. Lowe went to knock it further afield, but couldn't get it away to the back of the pack. Rod Owen running in front of the pack, tried to scoop it up, couldn't get it. A long handball goes down the ground by Clayton over to Blakey. Blakey on the left foot to half forward, standing his ground down here, going back to take the grab is Fode. Gordon Fode. Drop punt towards Nathan Burke on the wing on the northern grandstand side. Handballs to Nicky Winmar, who takes it virtually one hand, captures the ball. Drop punts in towards centre half forward. Lockett out, and Lockett marks 45 metres out from goal. Now this is within Tony's range. Good torpedo here. Tony can do the trick. Let's see if he's on the job though. Luck hasn't been with him so far today. Gone for the torpedo. It's a ripper. Dead centre. Big goal, Tony Lockett, to bring the Saints up to 6-4, and that'll swing them along to 40 points. Fitzroy doing it harder, a 5-10, 40 points, level pegging at the 16-minute mark.
Well, I think that Tony Lockett, he understands Winmar a lot better than some of the players coming up to the ground. He's not sure or confident of leading out to some of these players, the St Kilda players, but when Winmar gets the ball and gets out in the open and goes for home, he seems to be able to time it to a second there. He got out in front of his opponent up in the air and took a very solid mark, and what a glorious kick. That's one you expect of a champion, and he's put that right, and one that could bring them right back into the game again.
Bounce of the ball in the centre, 16 minutes gone. Up it goes, good bounce that time, all low. Springing in the air like a ballerina, but the ball was nobody there. Winmar got it for a brief second, but he was quickly disposed of the ball, and Broderick takes it out of his care and left puts it into the forward line, where Frawley comes in to take the mark. And Vernon says to Mick Conlon, you can't tackle him, he's just taken the mark, and a 50-metre penalty applies. Roy Simmons, another score at VFL Park.
Collingwood 4-9-33, leading Carlton by 1 point, 5-2-32.
And Danny Frawley towards the half-forward line, a push away that time, and Elphinston now on the ground for the Saints in the unusual role of a forward, has been penalised, and the free kick goes Fitzroy's way. Little short pass comes over here from McCormick over towards Wind. Jim Wind with the ball. Drop punts it in towards the half-forward line. Lynch is down there. He's got a lot of height that time over Rice, and that has been apparent for most of the game. Rice kicks along the ground when he couldn't pick it up. It goes the wrong way, though. It goes to Rendell, who shrugs off a tackle from Winmar, turns on his left foot, fires forward, bounces away from Osborne, tapped to the ground by Harding, but straight towards Matera. They must remember Western Australian days. Mickey Conlon comes in, picks it up, and a left foot snap by Mickey. Boy, I think is there. A great snap by Mickey, and he loves those snaps running past and put it through.
Doesn't he? He came whirled around his left foot that time, didn't bother about getting back on the right. Never had much time to get back on the right. Put the left boot into it, and a very, very good goal. A good one, Mickey Conlon. He's nice to see kicking goals.
Fitzroy 6-10-46, St Kilda 6-4-40. That is the Bank of Melbourne scoreboard, and 3KZ is football.
Free checks, no fees. The Bank of Melbourne cuts the cost of banking, and the money in your personal cheque account earns worthwhile interest. We have branches and agents everywhere.
Low in the ruck, gets a good knock away over towards Russo. Coming in here though for Fitzroy quickly, and getting onto the ball was Rendell following up, and the ball trapped on the bottom of the pack, and the umpire will come in to ball it up. This is umpire Grant Vernon, the Western Australian, in control of this play. Umpire Peter Cameron jogging back towards the Fitzroy half-forward line. Rendell fished the ball away over towards the centre of the ground. Picked up nicely here by Fitzroy, and running down the ground to get a good kick in was Broderick. He kicks it up towards Osborne leading out. Osborne can't take the mark, but follows up nicely. Picks the ball up off the ground. Gets it over to Matera, who's twisting and turning, uncertain where to go. Then gets a long handball in towards Stevens. Stevens now kicks long in towards the goal square, but nobody home for Fitzroy, and Harding of St Kilda takes a very easy mark. He gets a short pass 30 metres across to Nathan Burke. Nathan Burke follows up and kicks long over towards the half-back flank, and Grant coming down the ground takes the mark. Grant kicking up the Carlton member stand side. Kicks long up towards the centre wing position. Owen went high, almost took the mark, but in doing so interfered with big Rendell, who was in the middle of the pack, and Rendell will take the free kick. Matt Rendell of Fitzroy looking for leads. Roos now leads across to centre half forward, and Rendell puts a big torpedo in. Up goes the pack. Low went high, thumps the ball down. Picked up nicely by Owen. He gets it across over towards Daniels. Daniels gets it over towards Burke, and Burke kicks in towards Winmar on the centre of the ground. Winmar can't take the mark, but nice roving here by Coghlan. Picks up the ball and then kicks up towards Bradley Gotch. Winders there for Fitzroy, and he punches it away from Gotch and over the boundary line in the Carlton Social Club pocket to be thrown in.
When it was knocked away by Lowe, he knocked it out of the hands of Harding, the bloke who had the mark, his teammate.
Yes, it didn't. They're not playing with any smoothness at all. They're very jerky there and doing the wrong things, St. Kilda.
To knock away back towards the wing position by Rendell. Peter Burke comes in, picks up the ball, handballs across to Armstrong. Armstrong gets a good handball over to Blakey. Blakey from the centre of the ground puts a 60-metre kick up to the forward line. Osborne in there fighting hard for it, but it was Frawley just read that beautifully. He's sitting there, used his body to keep Osborne out and took a very safe mark. Frawley brings the ball back towards the Carlton grandstand side, looking for Lowe, who's right down on the half-back flank, and Lowe goes up in front of Conlon to take the mark. Cameron coming in because Conlon was playing for a free kick and having a few words to Conlon and going back to talk to Lowe as well, saying, no need to push Conlon over after you took the mark. Next time you do that, I'll take the ball off you. And now Lowe has given the kick. Lowe kicks up towards the centre wing position. The players come in quickly. Winmar went high, couldn't take the mark. Peter Burke stood his ground, picked the ball up off the pack, handball over to Matera, and Matera goes long in towards the forward line, but St. Kilda there in strength once again, and it's Danny Frawley takes the mark.
Lowe's nearly mucked up Frawley that time.
Yes, I think at the last moment he just withdrew his hands and let Frawley take the mark. Frawley's kick comes in towards the centre of the ground. The pack goes up and a free kick going to be paid out here, going Fitzroy's way.
Clayton by the look of it.
And it is Clayton to go back to take the free kick. Clayton of Fitzroy kicks out in towards the pocket, looking for Osborne. Osborne's got space to lead into this one. He picks the ball up on the volley, on the half volley, gets it over towards Armstrong, who was quickly met there by Rice, and the ball comes loose. Clayton following up, tries to pick up the ball. Grant's in there for St. Kilda, and also Daniels comes in very quickly, and a good bit of desperate work there by St. Kilda. Gets the ball into the pack, and umpire Cameron will come into ball and up.
3KZ has a score with Roy Simmons at VFL Park.
Yes, Carlton 6-2-38, leading Collingwood 4-9-33.
Umpire Cameron with the ball, puts it up, knocked away by Lowe, but it only goes as far as Armstrong. He can't control it, and quickly comes Rice comes in, gets the ball away over towards the centre wing position. Coming through there was Dwayne Rowe of Fitzroy, and he knocks the ball over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Bob Henderson, what's the score at Melbourne?
Melbourne 6-8-44. Lead North Melbourne 5-6-36.
Lowe comes in over the back of Rendell and gets it down to Sheldon. Sheldon kicks up to the half-forward line where Robert Elphinstone comes out to take the mark. Elphinstone gets Lockett leading down the ground. A good pass into Lockett, who almost took the mark. It's on the ground now, and coming through trying to pick up the ball was Gale. He can't get the ball away. It was held to him. He was attempting to punch it away, and the ball will be bounced up at the centre half-forward position.
OK, George Ferry, hit us with that score out at Essendon.
Essendon 12-2-74. The Eagles 1-1-7.
Who got their goal?
Lewis.
Hero?
He's a hero.
Good knock away by Rendell, but Mick Dwyer standing 30 metres away on his own. Picks up the ball, handballs over to Sheldon. Sheldon looks for Barker, but it's over the head of Barker. Oh! Free kick
Rennie
here.
Happy returns.
Yeah, that's Gotch, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, Gotch come in, was met solidly round the head region there, and he's still on the ground in a pretty bad way. On the 50-metre line, he'll be taking his kick.
If he can.
If he can. The umpire's just coming in there, pulled his mouth guard out, and he's still a little bit groggy, Bradley Gotch.
Yep.
He got a very good one.
Yes, and I'd say the player there fairly lucky not to be reported. It was in the act of play, and I'm sure it wasn't deliberate, but the arm was outstretched, and Gotch ran straight into it. And they're the sort of things that players are being reported for these days.
He did speak to him, but he never took his number or anything like that.
Gotch is okay now, and...
well, he's better than he was.
He's certainly better than he was.
He knows where he is.
I don't know whether he's better now, but he's better than he was.
He's feeling 100%. He's got the ball. be kicking from 55 metres out. Onto the left foot. Kicks up into the goal square. Fitzroy have got their big men back there, and Rendell goes up. It's punched away from him. On the ground, it's Bowie picks it up. Handballs over to Lockett, who uses strength to get away from a tackle, but he just runs into a wall of 4 Fitzroy players and couldn't do much, holding the ball against Lockett. Pert brings the ball away, down to the half-back flank. Jimmy Wine comes in, picks up the ball and kicks up to the half-forward line, looking for Lynch, but it's over the head of Lynch, and Rice comes in to take a pretty simple mark.
And Rice is starting to sort out the extra inches, Jack, and making the best of it.
He had a lot of trouble with him. I thought they'd change him there, Ian, but they stuck to him, and now I think he's going to pay the dividends.
Rice passes across to Lowe. Lowe gets a handball over to Sheldon, who runs down the ground, kicks in towards the half-forward line. Owen in there couldn't pick up the ball. In there fighting hard for Fitzroy is Rowe. He gets the ball out of the pack, but the umpire comes in and will ball it up.
1 goal the difference. Fitzroy 6-10-46 to St. Kilda 6-4-40. The Lions doing it a lot harder with those 10 behinds on the board.
And we're just about to go into the time-on period in the second quarter. Matt Rendell gets it down to Wind, who can't get his kick away. Bowie in there playing for the free kick, won't get it. Gale's in there for Fitzroy, and the players quickly converge on the ball, and the umpire will come in to ball it up.
Roy Simmons, what's the score at VFL Park?
Carlton 6-2-38, leading Collingwood 4-11-35.
Bob Henderson at Melbourne.
Melbourne 7-8-50, lead North Melbourne 5-7-37.
Rendell thumps the ball away. It goes as far as Daniels. He can't get a kick out of the pack. Blakey in there fighting hard for Fitzroy, can't clear it, and we'll have another bounce up, still on the half-forward line for Fitzroy.
Well, apart from one notable exception, the games are all good and tight for the 3 main ones, Collingwood and Carlton, Melbourne and North, and this one at Fitzroy and St. Kilda.
The ball put down to the ground. Winmar has to go up and do the ruck work. Gets it over towards Daniels, but he's quickly out-bustled, and coming through is Stevens. Picks up the ball and drives back in towards the centre of the ground. It's an awkward bounce for all players, and Russo taps it further afield. Lynch in there for Fitzroy. Gets it over to McCormick. McCormick to Matera. Matera over towards Clayton. Clayton now over towards Peter Burke, and Peter Burke back towards Matera. Good work there to get it out of the pack and into the clear, and Matera puts the ball in towards the full forward line. Roos takes the mark, but in coming out to take that mark, he got right into the back of Harding, and Harding will take the free kick and get the ball out of the pressure zone for St. Kilda. He sends the ball to the outer side of the ground, and coming through there was Sheldon to take the mark. Sheldon's kick comes in towards the wing position. Clayton following up, loses his footing. He's dragged off the ball by Grant. The ball comes over towards Rice. He gets it across over towards Elphinstone, and Elphinstone kicks long down there looking for Lockett, but it's Pert once again comes out in the front position. Should have been paid the free kick, but the umpire calls play on, and Gale backing up runs the ball over the boundary line 10 metres around from the St. Kilda goal.
Boundary umpire ready to throw it in. I thought Tony, as Laurie said, Jack could have been penalised that time.
Oh, that was a free kick. I don't know what he was doing. The umpire must have been looking the other way.
Lockett took the ruck, gets it down on the ground, but here comes a free kick from Vernon, and I think this is the make-up for the one beforehand that they didn't give against Lockett. And he's having a quick word to Tony Lockett now on the ruck, and Stevens goes back to take the free kick. Goes straight across goal, out to Gary Pert on the Carlton grandstand side, the northern side of the ground. He brings it over with a hand pass towards Blakey. He almost ran too far, but gets another handball to Leon Harris. Leon gets it over to Burke, and Peter Burke, a long 20-metre hand pass, which is a ripper over towards Rowe. Rowe in towards centre-half forward, fires towards goal, and they'll stop it on the line as Harding falls back. Peter Burke, Peter Charleston, could I check you for a statistic?
He's had 7 kicks, he's had 2 marks, and he's had 11 hand passes.
Yes, been right in the play. He was one of the few players that kept going all day against Geelong, I believe. Here's the kick after that short pass by Harding out towards Lowe. Lowe sent it right out towards the southern grandstand side. Rice thrown out of the way, feeling the fingers too. He's got a nasty one on the hand. No, that was the left-hander. And it's picked up there by Wind. Wind into the half-forward line. Jason Daniels, I think it was over there, wasn't it?
That was Jason.
And it slipped away. A chance here for Fode. He slips over there on the practice wicket area. Another chance for St. Kilda to get out of trouble, and finally it's over the line and out of bounds. I was having mental blocks last night trying to pick out Broderick and McCormack for Fitzroy, and when they started the day of the same. Now, I've been getting Jason all right all day, and that time I had a mental block on Rice and Jason. Here it is, the little handball out of the back of the pack, and it goes to Jim Wind. Wind goes in towards full forward. Oh, Harding came out like a forward. Almost took the mark. Was a little bit stiff not to get it. An umpire comes in and says, give the ball to me. Cameron with the ball. Ready to ball up about 45 metres out, or 40 metres out from goal. Up it goes in the air, back-to-back that time. Load gets it over down on the ground, and Fode drives it away with a big drop punt kick out towards the centre of the ground. And Mick Dwyer, who copped a couple of nasty ones, is failing to get into the game now, and that one's taken by McCormack. McCormack Goes for the right foot kick into the southern grandstand side. Wind leads right out to that practice wicket area and takes the mark. Bringing it down the long way, goes in, hugging the line up towards his forward there and Lynch, but it's knocked right clear over towards Bowie. Bowie's taken the ball away from the pack a good 20 metres, has one bounce, boots into half forward. He's given the ball away again, straight in the hands of Rowe of Fitzroy. He goes for a long hand pass down towards Armstrong. Armstrong goes back towards Rowe, who ducks very cleverly a tackle. In the end, he ends up kicking to the back of Owen. Finally, the ball ricochets off there and heads in the hands that time of the player in Broderick. Broderick of Fitzroy up towards the full forward line, but at the back is Danny Frawley after contesting the mark, recovered beautifully, picks it up, short kick out towards Sheldon. Sheldon with a short kick further up the ground and finds Russo. Russo with a handball down towards Jason Daniels, who's got the stinging effect out of his hands now. Goes for the kick in towards the half-forward wing where Grant is. Grant of St Kilda centres the ball. Will it reach to Elphingston? No, it didn't. Bounced on the ground in front. Picked up by Stevens with a handball to McCormick. McCormick with a handball over towards Clayton. They're fiddling around. He handballs it back to Armstrong. He goes for another short kick over towards Wind. Wind with the right foot kicking towards centre half forward. High flyers, and the big one at the back was Stuart Lowe, who took a very good grab. 30 minutes gone, won't be long for the bell with the Lions in front by a goal at the moment. Down on the ground in the half-forward, knocked away from Winmar, picked up by Russo. Russo in towards the half-forward line. Gale knocks it away and picked up that time by Wind, who handballs and the siren sounds at the same time. And a goal the difference at half-time here at Princes Park with Fitzroy 6-10-46 to St Kilda. 6 for the ball to start the third quarter here at Princes Park. Up it goes in the air and Rendell gets the knockdown. A chance for the Saints, though. They've got Daniels after the ball and also Russo, but Russo's first there, picks it up, boots it into the half-forward line, southern grandstand side, but coming out there on the last line of defence to take a good mark is Leon Harris, who we were just talking about. Leon, 30 years of age now and put in many great games for Lions, although this year he's only played 3 games because of injury. Boots out towards the half-back flank on the southern grandstand side. Ball whipped out by Broderick, but it's all overrunning the ball out there as Nathan Burke, who's back on the ground. Nathan for St Kilda picks up the ball, goes for a handball, knocked away there by Russo. It's down on the ground. Matera gets it for the Lions, but his kick is smothered. Good piece of work by the defensive players over there for St Kilda. Daniels along hands and knees gets the handball out. A kick along the ground that time by Russo goes the wrong way into the hands of the Lions. Wind is knocked out of the way. Good work there by Big Vidovic, gets it into half forward. Goes right up towards the southern grandstand side where we're battling on the ground, and finally Lowe knocks it through his legs. Will it come off? No, Nicky Winmar couldn't get it. It's down on the ground. A tackle laid on with players on the ground. Cameron letting it flow as Wine gets the ball and handballs out wide. Over towards his teammate there and Cameron. Clayton. Clayton gets it up towards Armstrong, and Armstrong's left footer goes in towards the half-forward line, but it's over on the full, and it's going to be a free kick to the Saints. And Mickey Conlon, feeling a bit of an injury, comes over to the boundary line and comes off, with new player coming on the ground, Wielden, who was dragged off in the first quarter after a very foolish push in the back against his opponent. Wielden back on. Harding takes the short pass over there at centre half-back. Sends a long hand pass down towards Russo, and Russo of St Kilda into the forward line. Knocking it away that time was McCormick just before it was taken in the clutches of Lockett. McCormick goes back in after the ball as it hits the ground. Picked up by Peter Burke of Fitzroy. Handballs over to Wally to Wind. And Wind goes in towards the half-forward line. Standing his ground well as Grant. Grant takes a good mark and plays on. He's been a good player for St Kilda and fairly positive in his work. In towards the forward line. Barker's taken off with the elevator up to try and get a second grab. Couldn't do so. On the ground that time was Mark Dwyer. Tried for the big handball, but it didn't come off. It was intercepted. McCormick gets it. Handballs now over the top towards Rowe. Rowe of Fitzroy from the wing on the northern side. Boots the half forward towards Paul Roos. Roving the pack beautifully was Matera. Picks up the ball. Does a big arc. Comes back on the left foot. Puts it into the pocket in front of the Carlton Social Grandstand. And it's grabbed by Richard Osborne. He goes for a little left foot kick to Paul Roos. And that looked like very smart football for the Lions. They combined well that time. And Roos will line up only about 20 metres out from goal.
Yes, it was very good. He shepherded very well there, Osborne, and he come around the left foot, had no trouble at all. Roos, of course, experience, got in front of his player, took the easy mark. Just as I said, that he had a shot for goal in. It was shocking.
It was indeed, Captain Blood, and one behind goes on the board. 6-11 Fitzroy, 47 points to St Kilda, 6-4-40. If they lose this game, they can blame their kicking. And from the last line, it's Elphinston this time, driving the ball out towards the southern grandstand side. The good mark has been taken over here by Broderick of Fitzroy. Broderick gets the left foot going in towards centre half forward. A lovely Lynch lead. and has found him in at centre-half forward, 40 metres out from goal. Now, Lynch, a capable forward. 29 games, 28 goals, originally from Hobart, where we're relaying today, as we do every Saturday. And Alistair Lynch comes in. Puts the ball on its way. That's a good-looking kick, and I think the result is good also. It is. And it's there for full points, and Fitzroy are now 7 goals, 11. That'll swing them along to 53 points, and Kilda 6-4-40, the Foster scoreboard on 3KZ. At the other grounds, Roy Simmons at VFL Park.
Collingwood 16-15-51, leading Carlton 6-2-38.
Bob Henderson at Melbourne.
8-9-57, lead North Melbourne 7-8-50.
George Freddy at Essendon.
Essendon 14-3-87, the Eagles 1-2-8.
Ready for the bounce back in the centre. Cameron has the ball. Runner is charging out on the ground. Coming over towards Rice. You can't interrupt it this time, Runner. And umpire Cameron ignores the runner and bounces the ball. Vidovic gets it down towards Bowie. Bowie almost caught in a headlock, but ducks the tackle and gets a good handball over to Nathan Burke. They're going to the other end in this second half, first part of it. Flipped down to the ground, picked up by Armstrong and Fitzroy, who gets it out towards Blakey, and Blakey brings it over towards the Carlton grandstand side, the northern side, and the mark taken there by Grant. Grant forced to play on, even though he was just settling himself after the mark. Goes over the head of Clayton and also Rod Owen. Rod Owen tries to punch it away from Armstrong. He couldn't get it there, and Armstrong got it over towards Wine. Wine gets it out towards Stevens. Stevens goes for the short pass to Richard Osborne, who juggles a beautiful one-hander from the right hand over towards the left hand and still captures the ball. Beautiful little kick too by Owen. Owen towards the forward line, and Lynch has taken off for a big grandstand leap. He came right over the top of 4 players but couldn't take the mark. Saints defend with Alphonse getting it out the half-back. McCormick takes it. Goes for a little short pass to Peter Burke. The Burke certainly in the action today. He runs within 50 metres. Fires towards goal. It's another one on the board to Fitzroy. Good play by Burke. Good play by those that got it down to him. And Fitzroy jumped to 8 goals, 11. 59 points, and Kilda 6-4-40, the Foster scoreboard.
Yes, a good bit of play there. Once again, McCormick giving the pass over, and Burke coming down the ground there, and a lovely shot for goal there again by them. But they're still well on top there. I thought their pace might have stopped there, but they're too pacey for St Kilda at the present time.
George Freddy, what's the score at Essendon?
Essendon 14-3-87, lead the Eagles 1-2-8.
And the ball bounced in the centre. Up goes Big Vidovic. He gets it down. Leon Harris is in there for Fitzroy. Picks it up and fires a torpedo into the forward line. Coming through is Ruse. He bumps Elphinstone out of the way, and Ruse follows up. Picks up the ball now. Tackled there by Grant. Back to Ruse, who thumps it forward. He's found Broderick. Broderick turned around, didn't look at the goals, and put a high left foot kick up towards Lynch and Elphinstone. Elphinstone can't take the mark. Coming in there and fighting hard for the borders, Wheeldon too. And he traps the ball under the pack, and it was good work by that player for Fitzroy to keep it in there, as Elphinstone had the chance to clear the ball there, but Wheeldon showed a lot of desperation for a forward. The ball bounced up 20 metres out from the Fitzroy goal. Punched away back towards Elphinstone, who runs across goal. He was tackled, gets the ball away, and the ball is now being forced through by the St Kilda defenders for one behind to Fitzroy. The CUB Foster's scoreboard, Fitzroy 8-12-60, St Kilda 6-4-40. Danny Frawley, wearing the number 59 jumper, kicks out to the Hawthorn grandstand side. It's a long kick too, out to the half-back line. Shepherded well as Grant, allowed to come through and pick the ball up off the ground and then fire the pass in towards Lowe, who leads out towards a half-forward flank to take the mark in front of Stevens. Lowe kicks in towards centre-half forward. Winmar goes high, stood on the back of his opponent and will be penalised because he didn't take the mark. And although he got very high, there's no doubt he just pushed the Fitzroy player, and that's McCormick, out of the road.
What a spicky it would have been if he pulled it down.
McCormick gets a short pass over towards Broderick. Broderick hand passes to Stevens, and now Stevens kicks long up towards Ruse at centre-half forward, and Ruse goes up in front of Harding to take a very good mark. Ruse now, the short pass is on. Osborne leads into the pass, a beautiful pass by Ruse, and Osborne has taken the mark 40 metres out from goal, directly in front. Fitzroy forward line starting to work. They're starting to coordinate and look for each other, and the passes are starting to hit the players on the chest. Richard Osborne comes in. Distance not a problem. Accuracy will be a problem, though. He's allowed a little bit too much for the breeze, and it's across into the right-hand side of the goals for another behind. 8-13-61 Fitzroy, St Kilda 6-4-40.
3Ks it is football.
Kick in, comes out to the centre half-back position. Off the hands of the Packets. Ruse picks up the ball. Taken away from him by Daniels. He gets it over towards Gotch, who's dispossessed. Leon Harris in there. Hand passes away over towards Clayton. His handball doesn't go too far. Dwyer's in there for St Kilda and Grant. And the ball on the bottom of the pack will be balled up once again.
When Laurie made the comment about Fitzroy's forward zone, I was going to say the same thing. And I think St Kilda's going to have to do something at this moment, Jack, to try and swing a couple of players into the play and get things moving.
Get things moving. They want Winmar in the play, but he just can't get in, and he's one that they look for all the time too. Lockett, he's just cooling his feet down there to another good player, but he's not in top form.
Good thump away, comes over to Fode. He gets a good handball across to Rice, and Rice kicks up looking for Lockett. Hurts all over the top of Lockett, but thumps the ball away. Lockett uses his strength and pace to get away, picks up the ball, tries to get around his opponent there in Pert, but can't do so. Now the hand pass from Lockett comes in towards Bowie. Bowie's tackled by 3 Fitzroy defenders there, but he may well get the free kick. Yes, he is, because the third tackle came across his shoulders, and umpire Cameron, right there on the job, gave the free kick to Bowie.
A little bit lucky.
He was a little bit lucky, yes. He was battling it out there. He just got pulled that little bit. The umpire's watching very closely. And I think it was technically a free kick. Technically.
A flea kick because he's small? Or?
Yeah, I think so. That's what got him the free kick, as a matter of fact.
Brett Bowie comes in from 40 metres, lines up the goals and kicks truly. That will make the distance, and it's gone over the pack. A handy goal there to St Kilda, and they needed that one. The CUB Foster scoreboard has St Kilda moving on to 7-4-46 to Fitzroy 8-13-61.
And the Foster scoreboard at the other grounds. Roy Simmons, VFL Park.
Collingwood 7-15-57, leading Carlton 8-2-50.
Bob Henderson at Melbourne.
Melbourne 10-10-70. North Melbourne 7-9-51.
3KZ's George Freddy at Essendon.
Essendon hit the ton here, 16-4-100 to the Eagles 1-2-8.
A big thump away by Vidovic, comes out towards Owen, but quickly intercepting there was McCormick, been a great player for Fitzroy. He gets it over towards Matera, who was grabbed around the neck, and Matera will take the free kick. Matera goes for a 20-metre pass over towards Rendell, who's dropped down the ground. Rendell takes the mark, gets around Owen, and then kicks into the Carlton Social Club pocket, where Richard Osborne is leading out, and he's starting to perform much better now, and Osborne leads into the ball to take the mark. Osborne, about 65 metres out, gets a lead from Lynch, which he ignores. Rendell makes a lead, and Ruse drops back into the goal square. Osborne fires the torpedo up into the goal square. The big men go up. All they go. They can't take the mark. Off the hands of the pack. Coming through is Grant. Loses the ball, but gets it over towards Daniels. Daniels gets it over towards Russo, and Russo kicks long down towards the half-forward line. Rice is in there fighting hard for the ball, but knocked away from him by Armstrong, and the ball over the boundary line to be thrown in.
We now have Elphinston down defence, as we mentioned beforehand. He's now picking up Lynch, which has left the smaller Rice a chance to go further up the ground.
And the ball thrown in. Rendell thumps the ball away over towards McCormick again. He's dragged off the ball by Daniels this time, and will get the free kick. Daniels and Rice both there for St Kilda, but it was Daniels who retarded McCormick. McCormick kicks in towards the half-forward line, looking for Osborne, but coming out and reading the play very well is Frawley of St Kilda. Frawley switches attack over to the Hawthorn grandstand side, looking for Fode. Fode gets in front of Peter Burke, but Burke was interfered with there, and umpire Cameron has paid the free kick to Burke, who played on, but is now brought behind his mark. Burke gets a lead from Richard Osborne. Richard Osborne in the pocket, picks up the ball, handballs back to Matera. Matera makes a bit of space for himself with good pace, and then fires a pass in towards Ruse. Leon Harris just intercepted and touched the ball, but sufficient there to knock it out of the hands of Ruse. And the ball now cleared by the St Kilda defenders through Elphinstone, out to the half-back flank. Going high there was Daniels, who couldn't take the mark, and Fitzroy come away with the ball as Rendell runs in. He's met solidly by Dwyer. The ball comes out towards Dwayne Rowe. He gets the ball away over to Clayton. He's been set upon by St Kilda players, and this will be holding the ball against Clayton, and Dean Rice going back to take the free kick. Dean Rice kicks up towards the forward line, looking for Lowe. Stevens in the front position, and Gale comes across from the side to sucker the ball away. Winmar comes in using a bit of pace. He's on the ground, taps the ball through his legs. Coming through here once again is Peter Burke, a great player for Fitzroy, and he kicks the ball into the centre position, and coming out to take the mark is Ruse. Ruse kicks long over towards Osborne, who's really starting to cover plenty of territory, and Osborne just nudges out Frawley there, and Osborne has taken the mark on the 50-metre line.
He doesn't like it, Frawley, but still it was very nicely done.
Oh, he just does it well, Jack.
Yes,
he gets them out and he doesn't actually push them. He virtually holds them there with his body and then drops back himself. Good kick by Osborne into the pocket. Up went Roos very high. Couldn't quite take the mark. Coming through was Lynch, who overruns the ball. Harding's in there fighting hard for St Kilda. Coming through is Matera. Picks up the ball. Gets it over towards Wheeldon. Wheeldon a flying shot towards goal, but offline over the boundary line on the full, and it'll be a free kick going to Russo of St Kilda.
And the other scores at the other grounds with Roy Simmons at VFL Park.
It's Collingwood 8-15-63 leading Carlton 8-3-51.
And from the back pocket, Russo drives the ball out towards the northern grandstand wing. Up they go. Grant flew high but didn't get anywhere near the ball. The ball came over to the back. Good pick up here by Brad Gotch. Brad Gotch of St Kilda in towards the half-forward line. Lowe backs back into Stevens, but Stevens forces the ball to the ground. Good recovery by Lowe there and sends a good 20-metre hand pass down the ground. But Mick Dwyer hasn't had any luck since he received a heavy knock in that first quarter. He just can't get into it. He's doing so now. Gets back, grabs the ball. Good work by him, but he's tackled. Lost that little bit of an edge, Mick Dwyer, but he's lucky enough. Oh, no, I thought it was going to be a free kick to Mick Dwyer from the back, but it's now going against Fode, and the free kick will go to Leon Harris of Fitzroy. Leon goes for a little drop punt pass of 25 metres. It's not a good one. Clayton wasn't aware for that, and it's picked up there by Bowie. Bowie takes the mark, now brings it out towards the southern grandstand side, over towards Fode. Fode grabs it, picks it up, and handballs to Barker. Barker gets a kick before being knocked off balance. Oh, bad mistake of time by the Lions as Harris let it slip through his grasp, but Pert was there to back up, and Pert knocks it out towards the half-back line with a good boot. Taken over there with a good mark by Clayton, who handballs to Wind. Wind passes the ball up to the half-forward line, and Blakey comes down the ground and takes the mark. Whereas that Gale it was. Gale, another little short pass with a fast-leading Osborne now. They're going to run Danny Frawley around, and Osborne goes back, torpedoes it in towards the forward line. Have a free kick, Russo. He got another big shove out, and that's Wheeldon again, who gave away a silly free kick in the first quarter for a push in the back in front of the umpire. He'll be dragged off again if he's not careful. The kick comes out towards the northern grandstand side where Vidovic took the mark. Goes down the ground. Oh, he fell for the trap of trying to draw Renrell to him. He did draw him to him, but the only trouble is he lost the ball and handballed into Rendell. Luckily, the handball comes back to Vidovic from Rice. He fires in towards the forward line. Lowe couldn't take it. Good backing up there as it comes to Blakey, and Blakey goes up towards the wing. Armstrong, yes, ducks out of trouble. Torpedoes it in towards the forward line, and Fode take the mark of the day so far as he grabbed a beautiful grab with a one hand and a 50-metre penalty going against Wheeldon. That was a very good mark, Jack.
Yes, a very solid one. By Jose, he's a deceptive footballer, this fella. He's got that little bit of pace with his bulk too, this kid, and he's going to turn into a really good one.
Fode goes right up the ground and gets the 50-metre penalty. And Gordon Fode, you'll find, is only 17 years of age.
Yes, it's a nice age.
Yes, I suppose it is.
It's a beautiful age.
Yes, probably is.
No one can hurt you at that stage. No one, you've got as much pace as a lot of them. You've got everything going.
Coming in now, takes the kick in towards the forward line, gets the lead, and a good mark to Stuart Lowe. Kept his backside out and hunched over going for the ball and put the long arms out, and Stevens that time had no chance in the world of knocking it away from him.
May I say that's about the first time he's got in front too, Ian. Like he's been playing from behind, which is, well, that's bush football. He should be in front. He's big, he's strong, he can hold them back, he can do anything like that.
Now this could be a lifting one for the Saints if he puts it on the way, or as a very wobbly sort of a run-up. I just wonder if he might have dug himself into a hole when he was coming in to kick the ball, because he really dipped when he went for that kick. Goes over the line and out of bounds on the full, and Pert takes a little short pass to Leon Harris, and Leon Harris of Fitzroy out towards the southern grandstand side where Grant takes the mark. Check his stats with Peter in just a moment. Grant into centre half forward, looking again for Lowe. Knocked away by Stevens, who's been a consistent customer there. Vidovic gets a little short kick in towards the forward line. Owen kicks it further into the forward line, but it's kicked along the ground now by Harris of Fitzroy out to the half-back flank. Trying to go in there was Nicky Winmar. He's tackled by Harris. The ball slips away from his body and goes over the line and out of bounds. Grant, Peter?
16 kicks, 7 marks, and 3 hand passes.
He's been well in the play, Jack.
He's been a very good player, very solid player, and playing very well from very consistent too for the 3 quarters.
Knocked down on the ground. Both Rendell and Vidovic were wondering where it had gone, but Nicky Winmar picks it up and drives to full forward, and when he gets the ball, does Lockett know where it's going? Led to the pocket and a skimming pass that would have travelled for 35 metres at least, and probably went no higher than Tony Lockett's head, and just at the last minute it was starting to go on the rise to give him a beautiful grab at the ball.
Oh, lovely. It was, but he seems to be able to read how the distance too. He reads him very well there, and it was a beautiful pass, and he seems to be able to see him, Lockett, too, straight away.
Gotch off the ground and coming back on as Coughlin as Tony Lockett shoots for goal. I tell you what, from that angle he's put it through. That was a great goal by Tony Lockett to bring up his third for the day, and Saints are still in there. The Saints are now 8 goals for, 52 points. Fitzroy 8-13-61, the Foster scoreboard, and 3KZ is football. Roy Simmons, the score at VFL Park.
Yes, Collingwood 8-15, level with Carlton 10-3-63.
Bob Henderson at Melbourne.
Melbourne 11-11-77, lead North Melbourne 8-10-58.
And the ball from the knockout picked up by Broderick. He gets it over towards Peter Burke. Peter Burke onto the right foot, kicks in towards the goal, and coming out into the pocket to take the mark is Lynch of Fitzroy. Quick reply here required by Fitzroy. As Ian mentioned, St Kilda haven't had much of the play, but they're still in the game with their straight kicking. 8-4-52 to St Kilda. Fitzroy 8-13-61. The difference at the moment, 9 points, but Fitzroy having much more of the play. Lynch comes in, kicks towards goal. Not too much excitement behind the goals, and the reason being because he's pulled that, and it's through for one more behind the Fitzroy. Fitzroy 8-14-62, St Kilda 8-4-52. The difference now 10 points, and that's on the CUB Foster's Lager scoreboard. Umpires discussing this, and now there's been a penalty free kick, or was it a free kick for an infringement?
Infringement up the ground, I think, Laurie, and that's why they brought the ball up there.
And it's granted St Kilda. Thanks, Ian. Takes the kick. Kicks up towards the centre wing position. Winmar went high but can't take the mark. Coming through is Wheeldon, but he can't get rid of the ball. Daniels is coming through there but overruns the ball, and this allows Rowe to come through for Fitzroy. Pick up the ball and kick it 30 metres into the arms of Broderick. He handballs onto Wheeldon, and that's much better play by Wheeldon. Fires in a bullet-like pass to Richard Osborne, who's virtually been given a roving commission on the forward line in this third term, and Osborne has taken the mark 40 metres out from goal on about a 30-degree angle. Richard Osborne hasn't had the best of days kicking-wise. I make it 1-3 that he's got at the moment. So does Ian. So Osborne certainly would like this one to go through to give his goal shooting a bit of confidence. Osborne coming in now. It's a nice looking kick off the boot. It's just being taken by the breeze, but I think there was enough on it. Yes, there was, to get through the big ones. 2 goals, 3 now to Richard Osborne, and Fitzroy move on to 9-14-68. St Kilda 8-4-52 on the Foster's scoreboard.
And he's causing a few problems for Danny Foley the way he's running around at the moment.
He's a terrific runner. He can run all day. But I thought he mightn't come back after, but he come back full of running, and he's playing very well. He's handling the ball well too, and he's judging and coming out from there. And of course he's letting the other fella in the back, but he missed number 11 there, Lynch. He's letting him in now too, so he's doing a job as well as getting the ball. He's breaking up the back line.
A big knock away by Vidovic. Goes over to Dwyer. Dwyer a quick handball to Russo, and Russo on to Winmar. Winmar has one bounce and then kicks up towards Lockett, who goes up. Lockett was behind his opponent there in Pert, but he had the sit and he put his knee into the back of Pert and rose high to take a very good mark 30 metres out from goal.
Interesting to see that St Kilda's gone back to putting Rice onto Lynch, even though Elphinston, the taller man there, and they felt that Rice was probably getting the better of him, even though he's giving away so many inches.
Yes, he was getting on top of him there. He started off all right on him. I thought they'd change him early, but they left him there, and he was doing all right in the finish. So I don't know why they took him away.
Tony Lockett from the scoreboard pocket comes in. He doesn't miss too many goals, and he hasn't missed that one. 4 goals straight to Tony Lockett, and St Kilda get back to within 10 points of Fitzroy. 9-14-68 Fitzroy, St Kilda 9-4-58.
Foster scoreboard, Bob Henderson at Melbourne.
Melbourne 11-11-77, lead North Melbourne 8-10-58.
George Ferry at Essendon.
Essendon 16-8, 104 lead to the Eagles 1-7-13.
3KZ is football.
Good bounce by umpire Cameron. Vidovic gets the knock away again. Peter Burke comes in, overruns the ball. Coming through there was Blakey. He picks up the ball and kicks high in towards the half-forward line. Winmar in there can't pick up the ball. Blakey follows up, met solidly by Grant there, and the ball trapped on the bottom of the pack. The umpire said a free kick to St Kilda because the Fitzroy player, and I think that was Broderick, made no attempt to get rid of the ball. It's Winmar, kicks up to the half-forward line, punched away, but into the arms of Mick Dwyer. Mick Dwyer has nowhere to go, so he punches the ball in front of himself. Stevens is there. Good work by Stevens. On his hands and knees, gets it out to Clayton. Clayton quickly over to Rendell, and Rendell kicks up towards the wing position where Fode went high, almost took the mark, and will be pated as Daniels races away with the ball, but the ball will be brought back to Fode for kicking back into play. Gordon Fode of St Kilda. Long drop punt up towards the half-forward line, but nobody home for St Kilda. Owen had to go up there against Rendell, and the greater height of Rendell winning out, and he takes the mark. Rendell goes for the short pass over towards Dwayne Rowe. Coming through there was Elphinstone, who spoilt Rowe, and now Elphinstone gets back onto the ball. A little left foot pass, goes about 20 metres over towards Lowe. Lowe can't take the mark. He's tackled again by Stevens and loses the ball. Winmar in there, fallen on top of. Umpire Cameron says no free kick, and he will come into ball it up.
Good bit of work there by Elphinstone to get the ball and beat those other two. The interception and then pick it up. He's a big man.
And he got a nice pass in too. Yeah. Lowe had no reason to drop that at all. I think he's saving himself from falling instead of going after it full 100%.
Daniels takes the ball from the throw up. He tries to get away. Armstrong comes in to tackle him, and umpire Cameron says Daniels made no attempt to get rid of the ball. The free kick goes to Armstrong of Fitzroy. Armstrong on the left foot, fires the ball up towards the half-forward line. Roos goes high, couldn't take the mark. Wine comes through, tries to gather the ball in front of him, but cannot do so, and the ball over the boundary line to be thrown in.
9-14 to 9-4 at the moment. 25 minutes gone. 68 to 58. 10 points the difference in favour of the Lions. Down on the ground it goes. A kick along the ground by Vidovic into the half-forward line. It'll just pass the wing now as Armstrong picks it up for the Lions. Armstrong centres the ball beautifully into centre half-forward. Frawley leads in the run for the ball. Just behind there was Osborne and all. Clayton kicked it along the ground, picked it up himself. Handballs to Richard Osborne. Richard turns on the left foot, fires for goal, but again is astray, and 2-4 for the day. Foster scoreboard 9-15. Fitzroy, St Kilda 9-4, 58. Danny Frawley doesn't waste any time, takes the ball out towards the southern grandstand side. They set themselves. Clayton goes for the big grab but couldn't pull it down. Russo's on the ground there, had to handball it out in the nest of Lions there. Picked up and a handball to Matera. Matera fires towards goal. He's astray also, and yet another behind on the board. They'll be kicking themselves if they lose this one, Lions.
They're kicking themselves out of it, aren't they?
9-16-70 to St Kilda 9-4-58. They haven't kicked themselves out of it yet, but they certainly could. And the short pass to David Grant of St Kilda in the back line. Grant goes out towards the wing where good play by Alphinson. Jets away, showing remarkable pace. Drives in towards the forward line, up towards Lowe. Stevens doing a good job down there. Taps the ball to the ground. Pert comes out. Runs the ball away from Lockett and kicks it along the ground out towards Armstrong along the ground. Armstrong lost it the first time. In goes Blakey to help him out. He's thrown out of the way, and Nicky Winmar comes away, bouncing it almost basketball fashion. Short pass to Lockett. Oh, you've got to pay interference, I think, umpire, but he didn't. Picked up there by Mick Dwyer, who handballs to Bowie. Out towards Winmar, who got a nudge in the back. It wasn't paid. Play on, says the umpire. A tap over there by Wine towards his teammate. Ooh, that was almost kicking in danger. But the umpire said no. Picked up and oh, what are you blowing the whistle for now? Well, he's given it against Fitzroy now. I can't tell you what this was for. He's given it, I think, around the shoulder. But I reckon there would have been 4 free kicks he could have given before that one that were worse than this one.
Yes, even that kicking in danger, he could have gave a free kick for that, Ian, the one you were talking about there. That was a very dangerous one indeed. But he certainly let a few go there, but he was getting more he let go, the more trouble he was getting into it, the more free kicks were appearing.
And Bowie, from about 40 metres out, comes in, shoots towards goal for the Saints. That's pretty close, but it'll be touched over and through for one behind. St Kilda 9-5-59, Fitzroy 9-16-70. Bob Henderson, what's the score at Melbourne?
30-point lead to Melbourne. Melbourne 13-11-89. North Melbourne 8-11-59.
George Ferry at Essendon.
Three-quarter time, Essendon 17-8, 110 to the Eagles, 1-7-13.
That'll do your percentage the world of good. Here's the kick by Gary Pert out towards the other side of the ground. Almost played to Jason Daniels. So this time he's dragged out of the way. I don't know, the umpire's just letting it go now. There's free kicks going everywhere. Here's the chance as Armstrong's flung out of the way. Coghlan knocks it along on the ground, and Nathan Burke picks it up, drives into forward line. Oh, bad fumble by Matt Rendell as it let it go through his fingers. A knockout over towards Clayton. Clayton dives towards the ground. Gale comes in for the Lions, picks up the ball. Long handball out to Jim Wine out in the practice wicket area on the half-back flank. Wine picks it up nicely in the long run. Up towards Paul Roos. Paul flew, but he couldn't bring down the mark. Winmar's in there battling away again, trying to pick it up. Gets it before the boundary line. Handballs it too high that time and couldn't take it was David Grant. The ball's back on the ground. Winmar knocked out of the way. Over towards Coghlan. He's knocked out of the way. Desperate work now by the two sides as the umpires let it go. Finally a handball comes out to Paul Roos. Diving towards the ball. That time looked like Rice, who's well up the ground away from goal. Or is it Nathan Burke? It's Nathan Burke. And umpire Vernon says, give it to me.
Different umpire that time, Ian. He stopped the messing around that time. He gave the free kick, the first one.
And Vernon comes in to bounce the ball. Up it goes. Knocked away and knocked away a second time by two other players in Broderick and his opponent. A good pick-up on the half-forward line. And Leon Harris right down the ground picks it up. Handballs over to Burke. Burke fires towards goal. And he's hit the post. Bit of bad luck there for him. But it's yet another behind to the Lions. 9-17-71. St Kilda 9-5-59. Quick score, Roy Simmons at VFL Park.
7-point lead to Carlton at three-quarter time. 11-5-71, leading Collingwood 8-16-64.
Here's the kick out to the half-back flank, but it's well taken by McCormack. McCormack gets the short pass towards Roos. Roos with another short pass. A little nudge in the back, and the umpire will play it against Frawley. Well, that was a gentle nudge. And the umpire said, no, it was still a push in the back, and Richard Osborne will take the kick. Now, Tricky Dicky, as Jack likes to call them, is 40 metres out from goal, I would say, at the moment, because we believe these marks here at Princes Park are a little bit short. And he would be a chance to score, Richard Osborne. Comes in, shoots towards goal, but, it's another behind for Richard to make it 2-5 for the day. And the scoreboard shows 9-18 Fitzroy, 72 to St Kilda 9-5-59. Who do you want to go out and back, Jack?
No, I tell you what, Richard would be very unhappy. He loves a goal too. He really loves a goal, and he's been kicking those points, and he's been well within kicking distance too, and everything's not going right for him. Only the kicking for goal, that's the only thing.
Good pass out towards Grant, and Grant, after a bit of running around, fires up towards the forward line. Owen's gone high in towards Stuart Lowe, and he's hurt himself and hurt Stuart Lowe, and the Lions taken away in towards Clayton. Clayton in the centre half forward. A big fly by Lynch, but he couldn't pull it down. Harding picks it up. Two Saints still feeling injuries there. Lowe and also Owen. Winmar goes in. A beautiful piece of play with a long handball over to Fode. Fode with a hand pass further down towards Bowie. Can he get it over to Lockett? He has got it over. Tony's moving a little bit slowly. Goes towards the boundary line. Clever balk for a big man. Gets it back to Bowie. Bowie shoots and steps for goal. It's a mark to Barker as he hits the behind post. And it's siren time. This is the sort of stuff that you make grand finals out of if it's the final quarter. But this is only the third quarter. And Trevor Barker has marked right on the line and crashed into the behind post. The field umpire, Cameron, is swinging him right around. And Trevor is lining up the big sticks. Good goal if you can get this one, Trevor. He can't run on because it'll be out of play. Shoots towards goal. That's close. 1 point. By gee, the way it left the boot, I thought that had made it. Anyway, the goal umpire was far closer than I, and one behind on the board. So it's 9-6-60 on the board to St Kilda, and Fitzroy 9-18 quarter. So it won't be the final siren, but the one to really snap them up at the three-quarter time break. And a tap away, and another tap over towards Dwyer, who gets it over towards Sheldon. It looks as though he's on the forward line for the last quarter. His handball wasn't good. Goes over towards Armstrong, who was grabbed when not in possession and could have had a free kick against Daniels. But it was picked up by Harding, who gets it over to Sheldon. That's two bad passes by Ken. One with a hand, one with a foot. He doesn't usually do that. He's usually very good. But it's gone into towards the forward pocket and over the line and out of bounds, and we'll have a throw-in. Fitzroy 9-18. Not good kicking to St Kilda's 9-6-60. Boundary umpire throws it in. Lowe takes the knock in the ruck. Russo goes along, tries to pick it up, but boots it with the ball along the ground. It's picked up there by Bowie. Winmar gets it, fires to the pocket, and finds Dwyer. Dwyer, who took a nasty knock on that first quarter, and as Jack mentioned in his summary, struggling to get back into the game. Good kick by Dwyer, right to the teeth of goal. Allows Lockett the big fly when coming through, but it's been forced through for one behind. So the 3KZ RACV scoreboard, Fitzroy 9-7-61 to Fitzroy 9-18-72. St. Kilda 9-7-61. Gary Pert getting a couple of calls and a couple of leads, but not definite about where he wants to go. Now he decides straight down the ground, because coming right up from the forward line was Lynch. They've knocked it away from him down on the ground. Broderick was in there also, and the umpire, I think, will have to go back and throw it in. That was Broderick coming up the ground for the long lead, right up from the forward line. Cameron on the point of the square in St. Kilda's forward zone. Bounces the ball. It's Saints to the grandstand in the last quarter. Lowe got the knockout. Goes back, ricochets. In goes big Rendell. But it's a free kick parked out by the umpire. Lowe was grabbed when not in possession. He'll take the free kick. Lowe goes in towards the forward line, up towards Lockett. Lockett and Pert doing a man-to-man bumping duel and a holding duel. Umpire let one go as Pert won the duel and brings it out towards the half-back flank. Flyer getting in. Picks up the ball and a beautiful foot pass over to Russo. Good football. Russo gets the lead from Barker, ignores that, now sticks it up higher for the run into Lockett, but he arrives late and gets it over in a roving style along the ground. He's brought to ground. Good play by the Lions as Pert grabs it and boots it out towards the outer side of the ground. David Grant is after it. Going to be backed up by Elphinston. Elphinston takes the shot, but Grant waited too long over there, and he's going to be penalised as a lovely tackle came in by Paul Roos, and Roos takes the free kick for the Lions when St. Kilda should have had that one sewn up with 2 men over there early. Roos drives the ball in towards the forward line. Good lead up by Wilden, who takes the mark and goes over the tacky area of the practice wickets. Boots a little short pass up forward, and it's taken here by Lynch. Alistair Lynch with the ball, 40 metres out from goal. Goes back, has a good look at these goals. I think he wants to put it beyond question of what he's going to do with it. Got 2 goals for the day. Brings his total up to 30 for his career in the BFL. Shoots towards goal. High flyers, where are you all? Roos almost pulled it off, but from a standing position. The others fell in front of him in the pack. It's forced through for another behind. So both have forced behinds in the opening minutes of play for the last quarter. 9-19-73 Fitzroy. St. Kilda 9-7-61. And that is the 3KZ RACV scoreboard. Up towards the grandstand side, northern grandstand side, down on the ground. Little Bowie goes in as grabbed. Players from both sides looking for free kicks, one for a trip, the other one for holding the ball. But umpire Vernon of Western Australia says, give it to me. Up it goes. Harding forces his way in front, tapped it down, but Bowie had left just at the wrong time. Picked up by Armstrong. Armstrong fires up towards Richmond Osmond. He couldn't take it. It's down on the ground. Umpire says a grab. And he's going to play the free kick towards the Lions. And the Saints, both Nathan Burke and Dean Rice, are really getting into the umpire Vernon here. And Jack, I think they've got a right to, because I thought he virtually held the ball and dropped it.
Well, if you're looking for mistakes, he's made about 4 very vital mistakes there. He was the one that made the mistake up there in the first quarter. He seems to be umpiring.
And it's the same bloke he's given it to.
Yeah, is it?
Matera.
Is that? He's from Western Australia too, isn't he?
And Matera fires towards goal. He's gone close to missing that one, but it's just stuck through. And it's a goal on the board, and Saints have every right to feel upset with 2 of those free kicks, because that one to me looked as though Wally was grabbed and the ball fell from his grasp and the play went on, and then he's turned around and play holding the man. Fitzroy 10-19-79. Good break for the Saints though, that one. St. Kilda 9-7-61, and 3KZ is football.
Join over 1 million Victorians who enjoy the security of being a member of the RACV. 24-hour service means you're safe and secure wherever you're driving. RACV, they'll get you going.
From the bounce, it's a backhander away by Rendell. Comes over towards Gale. He gets it back to Matera. Matera a handball into Rendell. Rendell back to Gale, and then Gale gets it over to Broderick, who sidesteps nicely, gets on the left foot and fires in towards Roos. Roos goes high, can't take the mark. Matera following up on the ground, can't pick up the ball. Wheeldon's in there, but the St. Kilda defence stands firm. The ball on the bottom of the pack. Nathan Burke, the last man up off the pack, and umpire Cameron will come in to ball it up.
Roy Simmons to score at VFL Park.
Well, Carlton have proving us wrong here in Carlton. 14-5-89, leading Collingwood 8-16-64.
From the throw-up, it's picked off the pack by Leon Harris. Gets a grubbing left foot kick towards goals, into the scoreboard pocket, over the boundary line to be thrown in.
What do you mean proving us wrong, Roy? We went for Carlton.
Oh, you're on my side too now, are you?
I went for Carlton.
Oh, good on you. You're an expert too.
Lynch does the ruck work for Fitzroy. He knocks it down in front of him. The good work here by Harding of St Kilda. Picks up the ball, gets onto the left foot and kicks it out towards the half-back flank. Barker went high and spread it into the pack. Coming through now is Wheeldon. He's tackled well by Fode and the ball comes loose. Good work here, and St Kilda coming away with the ball as Russo kicks it long into the vacant half-forward line. But Jimmy Wind coming across for Fitzroy takes a very good mark. He handballs over to Stevens. Wind keeps winding up and runs it well around, picks up the pass from Stevens and then gets it over towards Matt Rendell, who's on the wing position to take the mark. Rendell goes short, looking for Broderick, and Broderick slides in on his knees to take the mark on the half-forward flank. Broderick now goes for a left foot kick up towards Roos. Roos goes high, but Elphinstone now on Roos, knocks it away over the boundary line to be thrown in.
Any chance of a comeback? Bob Henderson at the MCG. Bob Henderson.
6-point lead by Melbourne. Ian Melbourne 15-12, 102. North Melbourne 9-12, 66.
Good breakaway here by St Kilda as Grant comes away with the ball, fires the ball in towards the centre of the ground, and Lowe takes a good mark. Lowe plays on and kicks up towards Lockett, who's in the front position, but out-bustled once again. He went for it one-handed, got it down towards Dwyer. Dwyer a flying shot towards goal, but it's offline, and is it going to be signalled to behind, or will there be a free
Vernon
kick?
is going to chicken out of this. He was going to play the free kick down the ground. He's changed his mind now, and he's going to go. He's going to have to make up his mind whether it's a free kick for Lockett, and he is going to play it because he chickened out. He was going to play it immediately, and then he said no, and then Lockett came over to him and said, what about the kick down the ground? And he's now going to give it down the ground.
I think the confusion may have been, he thought that may have gone through on the full, in which case it would have had to come back to Dwyer for another kick, but I think he conferred with the goal umpire who said it bounced in play, and so the free kick going to Bowie. Bowie now on a very acute angle, kicks towards goals and puts it through, and St Kilda back in this game. The difference now, a mere 2 goals. The RACV scoreboard has Fitzroy 10-19-79, St Kilda 10-7-67.
I don't like to see games decided on free kicks.
No, I don't either. There's been a conflicting of decisions here, I think, today between this umpire and the other umpire. He seems very different in his decisions. This fella from West Australia doesn't seem very definite at all, but he does give them.
He'll be on the same plane as the Eagles have, I think.
Umpire Cameron, the one that Jack calls the definite one, puts the ball up in the centre. It's knocked away and beautifully picked up by Brad Gotch onto the left foot in towards Lockett. Lockett in front of Burt takes the mark. That was good play by St Kilda from the centre bounce. And Lockett with 4 goals on the board, kicking from 30 metres out directly in front. Tony Lockett, 4 goals. Hasn't been a great player today, but has had a very good battle with Pert. Pert been a great player for Fitzroy, but Lockett is all percentage. Wouldn't have too many more than 4 kicks for 4 goals. Lockett now coming in, lines them up. Took that pretty easy. Only took about 2 steps towards goal, and he's paid the penalty because it's offline and through for 1 behind. That was a goal St Kilda really needed. The difference now 11 points. 10-8-68 St Kilda. Fitzroy 10-19-79.
What's his stats, Pete?
6 kicks, 5 marks, 2 hand passes.
Gary Pert kicks the ball to himself. It was clear of hand and foot, but umpire Cameron said not by the required distance of 2 metres, and so we're going to have a ball up in the goal square.
Thank you.
These umpires are getting right into the game, aren't they?
He's very definite. He's very definite too.
Tell you what, if the both other sides have given away the ball, these umpires are getting right into it.
And umpire Cameron from the 10-metre line puts the ball to the ground. Up goes Lockett. Lockett thumps the ball back into play over towards Russo. He can't pick up the ball. Coming through there was Dwayne Rowe for Fitzroy. Knocks the ball towards the boundary line, and it's over the boundary line, 30 metres around from the St Kilda goal.
Roy Simmons to score at VFL Park.
18-point lead to Carlton. Carlton 14-5-89, leading Collingwood 9-17-71.
Lowe comes high over the top of Rendell, puts the ball down into the ground, but good work here by St Kilda. Gets it out towards the wing position, only to see David Grant come in for St Kilda to take the mark. Grant kicks long, up in towards the centre half-forward position. Lockett comes out into the back of Rendell. Play on is the call as the ball hits the ground. Barker picks the ball up nicely. Handballs over towards Coughlin. Coughlin kicks in towards Sheldon, who's in the forward pocket. Knocked away from Sheldon, and the ball cleared here nicely by Fitzroy as it comes out to Leon Harris. He sends the ball out the Hawthorn grandstand side over towards the wing where Paul Roos is there, but he won't get there, and the ball over the boundary line to be thrown in.
Bob Henderson has an RACV scoreboard at Melbourne.
Melbourne 16-13, 109. North Melbourne 10-12, 72.
The ball thrown in. Over the top goes Vidovic. He can't take the ball. Big pack of players formed. Fitzroy come away with the ball, and it's nicely done here as the ball comes in towards the half-forward line. That was from
Peter Burke.
From Peter Burke, thanks, Ian. And this time it's Rice of St Kilda. Picks up the ball and defends well. Sends it back to the half-forward line and finds Coughlin once again. Coughlin gets the ball over to Grant. Grant a long handball here over towards Scotch. Scotch onto the right foot. Kicks in towards the half-forward line where Lowe comes out. He can't take the mark. Wyer's in there. Pushes the ball further forward looking for Winmar, but good work here by Clayton. Gets the ball over towards his teammate in Blakey, and Blakey has a hurried kick up towards the centre of the ground, and coming through is Matera to take the mark.
Umpire fell over.
Thank you. Umpire fell over, but the ball comes out towards Armstrong. Armstrong a long left foot kick into the forward line, and here's the difference as Lynch comes out to take a very positive mark in the scoreboard pocket, and he'd be no more than about 12 metres out from goal.
Sorry to distract you there, Laurie. It just looked funny when he tumbled over backwards. That was umpire Vernon. I think that might have been mental telepathy by about 4,000 supporters here at the ground.
Jack's been giving him the eagle eye all day too. Alistair Lynch on a very acute angle, about 5 metres in from the boundary line in the scoreboard pocket. Comes in, kicks through the ball, puts plenty into that. The umpire watches it go over his head, and it's a goal. Breathing space again for Fitzroy. The difference now 17 points. Fitzroy 11-19-85. St Kilda 10-8-68.
3KZ is football.
Let RACV Travel show you Australia or the world. RACV Travel. It's the first place to visit for all your travel needs.
Well, every time Saints get up there, Fitzroy got a reply, Jack.
Yes, they can always reply. That one that Lockett missed, I think that was the decider. If he'd have kicked that there, would rewrite in it, but he missed it, and that was all there was to it.
Harding got high in the ruck and hung in the air that fraction, trying to get it away. Nicky Winmar goes in, but couldn't pull it away. Good work by Rendell. Held his ground even though being tackled. A good flip over that time by Broderick towards Peter Burke, and Peter Burke really playing a great game for the Lions, and that was through before they touched it. It's another one on the board. Good play by Peter Burke. He's got 2 goals and one's hit the post today. And after his trips to Richmond, to Fitzroy, up the bush and back to Western, and now to Fitzroy, and he's only played something like 7 senior games in all that time.
He seems to play over the top of the ball too. He doesn't make many mistakes when he's running with the ball. He's got good coverage to the ball coming down the ground, even on a bad bouncing turf like this one here. He covers it well, and he's been playing very solid football.
Fitzroy 12-19-91, St Kilda 10-8-68. Bounce to the ball in the centre. It's the Saints taking it away through Russo in towards the forward pocket. A chance here, a knock away by Sheldon. Gets it wide, but Tony Lockett had left that spot. Picked up by Pert, and Pert relieves again out towards the other end of the ground. And it's a nice one along the grandstand side. The mark taken over there for the Lions, and going back as Wilden.
With a good pair of hands,
yes, yes. Not a bad kick either. In towards the centre it goes. Nick Winmar tried to mark the ball, was stragged a little bit, bounces away, and going in is Wally Matera. Good piece of football by Wally. Over to Broderick, and Broderick on the left foot in towards the forward line. A battle down there with Lynch and Rice. Rice wins this one, comes out towards the northern grandstand side. Pumps the ball up towards the wing. It's over the head of Jason Daniels. Could have been a free kick, but the umpire's allowing play to go on when Daniels has got a break. Goes for the short pass to Lowe. He takes it, thinking of the handball, and probably should have. Now he's going to go for the big kick. Oh, he's put it right up in the air. Tony Lockett, where art thou? Up he goes against Rendell. Couldn't get it. Rowe at the bottom of the pack. Grabbed the ball, booted out towards Daniels again, who recovers quickly. Comes in, handballs over towards his teammate in Coughlin. Coughlin screws the ball back to the pocket. Dwyer in the pocket. Pert rushes across the front. Desperate work by Pert. Forces the ball over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Good play, Gary Pert. Roy Simmons has scored at VFL Park.
18-point lead to Carlton, 14-6-90, leading Collingwood 9-18-72.
Boundary umpire throws the ball in. And Lowe takes it and dumped out of the way by Matt Rendell. A handball that time by Russo over towards Gotch. This will be against Winmar. And a 50-metre penalty, because McCormick got a second shove, and it'll go against Nicky Winmar and a 50-metre penalty as well. Nicky Winmar for the last couple of weeks has been trying to bring up his 100th goal in VFL football, and he doesn't look as though he's going to do it today. Now they get the 50 metres, and McCormick passes the ball out to Gale here on the northern grandstand wing, the position we broadcast from at Carlton. Was he off? No. Little short pass by Gale finds Clayton further down the ground, the half-forward line. Sheldon following him up. Clayton gets the lead from Ruse, ignores that one, goes for another one in the pocket. It's not a bad sort of a pass either, and a good lead into it by Wilden, and Wilden is marked 40 metres out from goal. Wilton with the ball. Has been kicking goals for the Lions. Will he go for a pass this time or try and go for the big high diddle-diddle? Comes in, a stuttering sort of a run, comes now over the 50-metre line, fires up towards the face of goal. Up they go, Danny Frawley in front, had it knocked away from him. A good piece of dash by David Grant with St Kilda. He goes in, going to knock it along the ground, tries to get it out. Good piece of work also by Russo as he comes out of the pack and screws it with the left foot out towards the wing. Armstrong there, and he was trying to knock it over, I think, towards Clayton, and in the end found he had enough leverage away from his opponent there in Daniels to take a clever mark. Goes for a little left foot short pass towards Clayton, and he has taken the ball. That was a good grab by Armstrong, Jack.
Yes, he was a good footballer, Armstrong. He seems to have gone off the board a little bit, but he's played solid football today.
Clayton, ball pass. Saw his player coming up with a clever interception by Russo. Takes the mark, handballs to Nathan Burke. Nathan Burke up towards the wing position where Lowe had come down, but a good grab by Stevens, who's put in a top game today against Lowe. Goes for the handball towards his teammate, and Armstrong lets go with the left foot and further down the ground. Over the fingers that time. Almost took the mark, Broderick, but he couldn't quite bring it off. Matera is in there. He's tackled. Handballs hurriedly, and it goes the way of the Saints. Poe charges through, gets it over to Bowie. Bowie with a handball to Harding, and Harding with the left footer in towards centre half forward. 18 minutes ticking away. The ball hits the ground after the pack flew. Great smother by Rowe that time of Fitzroy. Lands the ball back in Fitzroy's possession. Armstrong picks it up. Goes into the half-forward line. Good piece of work by Harding, bringing the ball in front of him, but it's ricocheted off a shin and landed back in the hands of McCormack, who punts a big torpedo right up towards the forward line, and Danny Frawley has taken a very good mark. Danny Frawley plugging along still. Plenty of time for both sides, or for St Kilda to get up and scare Fitzroy. As Jack said, maybe that shot by Lockett has been the one that fails for them. Short pass over to Russo. Russo's found Nathan Burke with a handball, and his kick goes into the forward line, and Winmar is 50 metres out. Gets the call from Lockett. Lockett stands his ground, tries to take it one hand, but couldn't do so. Ball on the ground. Gotch goes in. That's hit the behind post, and the boundary umpire gets the signal from the goal umpire and will come in and ball it up, throw it in, I should say, a couple of metres from the behind post. Can't stand right on the behind post, but he did a pretty good job of doing it. And Lockett charges into the ruck, picks it up, fires for goal, and he's put it through. And umpire Cameron is talking to Big Red Rendell and saying, no, it wasn't a free kick. What did you think, Jack? Was it a free kick or not?
I was watching Lockett that time.
Okay, Fitzroy 12-19-91 to St Kilda 11-8-74. Matt Rendell wasn't happy about the interference in the ruck, but the umpire Cameron was talking to him at the time, just after Lockett played on and kicked the goal. And then he turned around, Cameron, and said, all right, it's all clear. And the goal umpire had been standing there for fractions of seconds waiting for it. Here's the bounce back in the centre, 12-19 to 11-8 here at Princes Park. 17 points to difference in favour of the Lions. Against Coglan this will be, and Peter Burke, who's put in a ripper of a game. What's his stats now, Pete?
15 kicks, 13 hand passes and 3 marks.
And he sent the short pass over wide to the northern grandstand side to his teammate McCormack. McCormack goes for another kick towards the boundary line. Daniels after it. Just stays inside the line momentarily, and then it goes over the line and out of bounds. And we add the Peter Burke stats, 2 goals and 1 time hit the post. Bob Henderson, the score at Melbourne.
37 points lead to Melbourne. Melbourne 16-15, 111. North Melbourne 10-14, 74.
George Ferry at Essendon.
Essendon 22-10, 142. The Eagles 111-17.
From the throw-in, it's tapped over towards Roos. Roos gets a pass to Rendell, who had run down the ground. Rendell went to go for his kick, but was pushed in the middle of the back, and that was by Harding, pushed him in the back, and Rendell will be paid the free kick, the ball being brought back, and Rendell will be kicking from the 50-metre line.
Professional free kick that was worth it.
Yes, and I think he got a bit of a make-up too. After getting roared at a couple of times, he gets a free kick now. Goes on football a bit.
Matthew Rendell. Yeah, I agree with you, Ian. I think he may well have ran into the goals and put that one right through. He would have made the distance. Now he has to kick from the standing position, and it's a dreadful kick off the side of the boot, over into the pocket, and that's a good mark there to Jason Daniels of St Kilda. Daniels foolishly plays on, gets the ball over to Grant, who uses a bit of skill to shrug off a tackle, then get back onto the right foot and kick it into the half-forward line, but Jimmy Winder's there to take the mark. He handballs away. The ball comes over towards Matera, who got clear and then left the ball on the ground and overran it. Bowie comes through following up for St Kilda and passes out towards the wing position where Barker takes the mark. Barker plays on quickly up towards Sheldon, who dives into the ball in front of Gale to take the mark. Sheldon now plays on. Kicks in towards the pocket, looking for Dwyer, who's running down the ground. And Lockett, but it's Pert, the cleaner pair of heels, gets in front of Lockett and comes out to take a good mark.
Top game, Gary Pert.
Beautiful game.
Yes, I think even though Lockett's got 5 goals, Pert has been a great player for Fitzroy. Pert sends the ball long out the Hawthorn grandstand side, over to the wing position. Quick flick out of the pack, comes over towards Fitzroy, over towards Wind, but there's a free kick being paid in the meantime. And is that McCormick over there?
Yeah.
Yes, it is McCormick. Wind runs down the ground, down to the wing position proper, and McCormick rather just pops the ball over towards him. Wind now goes longer, over towards Roos, who's led down to the half-forward line. Roos has the ball punched away from him by Harding. Roos following up, can't control it, and it's over the boundary line to be thrown in.
3KZ has another score with Roy Simmons at VFL Park.
A 6-point lead to Carlton at the 25-minute mark. Carlton 14-6-90 leading Collingwood 11-18-84, and Ron McEwen's just had a shot for goal, and he's kicked it. So we're level at the moment.
And the ball from Rendell gets over towards Roos. Roos onto the right foot, kicks up in towards the pocket. Punched away, and the St Kilda defenders come in quickly. Get the ball over towards Russo. Russo to Elphinstone, and Elphinstone puts the ball up towards the centre wing position. Barker's there, can't take the mark, but puts the ball on the ground, ducks his head, and the defenders run past him. He turns around and spears a pass in towards Lowe, who takes the mark. Lowe kicks a big ball up towards Lockett. Pert went high, couldn't take the mark, but recovers well. The ball kicked out of his hands over towards Bowie. Bowie into the open goal, doesn't try and pick it up, and he suckered it through. And there's still hope for St Kilda in this game too, because that makes the difference. 11 points at the 23-minute mark. The RACV scoreboard, Fitzroy 12-19-91, St Kilda 12-8-80.
Bowie 3 goals and 3KZ is football.
Find out about all the benefits of being an RACV member by calling into your nearest RACV branch. They'll get you going.
Still alive, Jack?
Yes, still alive. You wouldn't credit. They've been beaten very badly too, I would say, in all-round play too.
Harding gets a knockdown, but Leon Harris is there. He gets a kick, goes 30 metres and a high kick in towards centre half forward, and Roos puts his hand up to take a lovely one-handed mark. Had to juggle that one. Now he plays on quickly. The big kick comes into the goal square, knocked away by Rice. At the foot of the pack there, it's Broderick. He picks up the ball, gets around onto the left foot, but just offline and through for one behind to make the difference. 2 straight shots as far as St Kilda are concerned. Fitzroy 12-20-92, St Kilda 12-8-80, and that's the RACV scoreboard. Danny Frawley sends the ball out towards the Hawthorn grandstand side, and Grant backing back into the pack has taken a lovely mark. Good player for St Kilda today. David Grant runs down, now kicks long, up towards the wing. Low from the back of the pack goes up. Stevens is in the front once again. Gets the ball, handballs across over towards Blakey. Blakey back to Stevens. Stevens onto the left foot, kicks in towards Roos. Roos stands his ground, just got Elphinstone out the way, and Roos has taken the mark. Roos now sends the ball into the scoreboard pocket. Osborne leads out, and he likes the ball in front of him and got that yard away from Frawley, and Osborne comes out to take a good mark, 40 metres out from goal. Frawley feeling he's hit too, because Osborne just bumped him out the road as he was going for the ball, and it must have caught Frawley on a tender spot.
Probably tender from the first quarter, Laurie, when he backed back into the pack.
Yeah, I think it could have been. Osborne's kick's not a good one. The umpire, both umpires conferring, and the boundary umpire said it was over the line on the full, and Rice of St Kilda will take the free kick. They've got to play direct, St Kilda. There's a little time left, but not a lot. They've got to get down the centre and get goals on the board, and that won't help them as the ball goes out to the half-back line, and big Matt Rendell stands his ground to take a good mark. Rendell slowing play down, just walking back. He's on the practice wicket area, so it's a little bit spongy out there. Now Rendell goes for the pass. Osborne leads out into the pocket once again. Punched away from Osborne over the boundary line to be thrown in.
Another score from 3KZ's Roy Simmons at VFL Park.
Carlton just kicked the goal that put them 6 points in front. Carlton 15-6-96, leading Collingwood 12-18-90.
25 and a half minutes gone. The ball comes out towards Gotch. Gotch gets it over towards Burke. Burke is tackled quickly, gets the kick away towards the boundary line, and once again the ball over the line to be thrown in.
Bob Henderson at Melbourne.
37-point lead to Melbourne. Melbourne 17-15, 117. North Melbourne 11-15, 81.
Ruse doing the ruck work, gets the ball down, taps it up in the air and then grabs it himself again. Elphinstone comes through, takes the ball out of his hands and handballs across over towards Gotch. Gotch a long kick over towards the half-forward line. Coming through here is Lowe. Can't pick up the ball. Stevens hot on his hammer, as he's been all day. Just bustles Lowe out of the road and taps the ball into the safety of the boundary line to be thrown in.
Just so George Ferry won't go home in the sulks. George, what's the score at Essendon?
Final score, Ian, 25-10, 160 Essendon to the Eagles 112-17.
Oh, big knock away by Lowe. Comes out towards his teammate there in Russo, but a good interception by Clayton. Picks the ball up and fires the kick in towards Wheeldon, leading out to the half-forward line. But the ball once again over the line to be thrown in.
George, you've only got 112.
112-18.
Thank you, George. Thank you. That's all you've got to look. Just do a little bit of adding up out there, please. Don't fall asleep.
It's been so exciting, Ian.
And the ball thrown in, picked up by Fitzroy. They can't get the ball clear of the pack, though. In there fighting hard as Russo. Harding picks the ball up and then kicks with the left foot over towards the wing. But the ball off the side of his boot, over the boundary line on the full. Scott Clayton to take the kick.
Here's Clayton with the ball. Half-forward flank, southern grandstand side. Taking a bit of a look down the ground. Gets a few streamers off the boots and fires in towards the forward line. High flyers up, but Grant at the back of the pack goes over the top. Thumps it away from the opponents and over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. Practice wicket area, half-forward flank. Boundary umpire throws it in. Ruse takes the ruck, and Paul gets the knockout down on the ground, but the umpire's found interference against Paul. Not used to this ruck duel, and Harding will take the free kick. Bit crude in the ruck, do you think, Jack?
Oh, yes, he's a positional player. Great player, too. He's not playing as well as I've seen him play, of course. He's carrying those legs a bit.
Harding with a beautiful torpedo right up towards the centre of the ground. Comes off the back and a good pick up by Russo. Russo into half forward. Knocked away and the ball over towards Little Bowie, who's got 3 goals to his name. Good tackle by Gale. Gale keeps the ball there. Goes for a handball over to Wind. Wind a little short pass. Intercepted. Doesn't make Stevens. A chance there for Coughlin. He's thrown out of the way. This is desperate stuff now as Winmar flings himself in. 4 players on the ground just flinging themselves in. And umpire Cameron says, leave it to me. Well, I think the moment has gone as far as the Saints are concerned. We're now up to the 28-minute mark, and I can't see Fitzroy being beaten from this stage. A big knockout by Matt Rendell down on the ground, and Clayton picks up the ball and fires out towards the outer side of the ground. Fode is there, leading his opponent Broderick for a march. He's caught, though, and Broderick grabs the short, and Fode has fallen for the trick and given away the free kick, and Broderick will go back. He tried, why bounce the ball, Gordon, when you've just picked it up? It was no good to do that at the time with someone hanging onto your shorts. Little short kick down the ground there by Broderick, but it's taken by Elphinstone on the half-back flank, outer side of the ground, or the southern grandstand side. The kick is in towards the wing position. Grant goes up for St Kilda with Rowe there for Fitzroy. On the ground, picking it up, turning around and firing in as Vatira, but it goes the wrong way. Goes straight to Harding, who handballs over to Russo. Here's a forward thrust with something to it. No, it goes over the top of Sheldon. Bowie's after it. He breaks clear of his opponent. He's clear by 4 metres. Steadies, fires for goal. Has he put it through? Yes, he has. It's another goal on the board, and Saints haven't gone down yet. 13 goals, 86 on the board. Fitzroy, 12-20-82. Quick score, Roy Simmons at BFL Park.
Yes, a 6-point win for Carlton out here. Carlton 15-6-96 defeated Collingwood 12-18-90.
And we have 6 points the difference here at Princes Park. 3KZ is football.
If you've found the new or used car you want, get an RACV vehicle inspection before you part with your hard-earned cash.
Bad kicking beat the Magpies. Will it beat the Lions? All Winmar grab when charging through the centre after the ball. Clayton gets it and a push in the back. And Saints fans aren't happy at all because Winmar was probably missed the first time coming through. Clayton brings the ball out to the wing where Matt Rendell has taken the mark. And you watch Matt bring out the cards and say anyone for a game. He's slowing it right down. Now brings the little short pass to the wing, hogging the air. All Richard Osborne given a push, was he? Yes. And the umpire says push in the back. It goes against the Saints, and Osborne has taken it half-forward flank, northern grandstand side, and Tricky Dicky has also said, yes, I'll join in the cards and waste a bit more time. Yes, will I go long or short? Now I'll go for the big torpedo, and Osborne boots it right up towards there, and a good mark coming across the face of the pack is Harding. Harding of St Kilda with the ball. You've got to get it moving. You can't muck around. That's the idea out the centre of the ground. It's taken over there by Russo, but it's all over. And as Jack said, it may have been that Tony Lockett one at about the 13-minute mark of the last quarter when they had the chance in front. when Tony had 4 goals up and a good kick towards goal, but drifted offline, and it may have just lifted Saints that extra little bit at the time. Not to be. And Fitzroy, on play, deserved the victory. 12-20. As you can see, they would have been kicking themselves because of bad kicking if they lost it. 12-20 the Lions, 92 to St Kilda, 13-8, 86.